All right, let's get to Brandon Johnson, who is a union organizer, a teacher, and now the next mayor of Chicago. Here is Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! Talking about Brandon Johnson's
Democracy Now, democracynow.org. As we go from Wisconsin to Chicago, another closely watched race. Brandon Johnson was elected mayor of Chicago in a major victory for progressives. Johnson, a black teachers union organizer, defeated conservative Democrat Paul Vallas, a champion of charter schools who ran on a law and order platform. Johnson won even though Vallas had outspent him 2-1. Brandon Johnson spoke last night to supporters.
So Chicago, I'll say it this day. Today, we take big steps towards figuring it out here. So I believe since we are taking steps to figure it out here, let's take this bold progressive movement around these United States of America.
So, Juan, that's Brandon Johnson. You're in Chicago. Talk about the significance of this victory.
Yes, Amy. All the polls have been predicting a dead heat. It was a close race, the narrowest margin since Harold Washington won election as Chicago mayor back in 1983. But Brandon Johnson did succeed in rebuilding a progressive coalition to be able to capture the mayoralty. He won in impressive majorities in various groups across the city. In the African-American community, he did far better than the polls were showing. So basically, the undecided African-American voters broke in the last week almost completely for him. He did win a majority of the Latino wards of the city. But at the same time, Paul Vallas did do very well in some other Latino wards in this city, in the areas of Humboldt Park, West Town, Logan Square, Avondale, the historically Puerto Rican neighborhoods of the north side of Chicago. Brandon Johnson racked up in the almost 70% of the vote. But in some of the more middle-class Latino neighborhoods of the southwest Chicago, actually Paul Vallas had the majority of the vote. So Brandon Johnson did win a significant majority among the Latino community, which of course has been the fastest growing. But Vallas did have significant support, obviously, in the white community and in some sections of the Latino community as well. Now comes the difficult part of governance, because Brandon Johnson is going to be facing a police department, police office.
Didn't the fucking police union say that if Brandon Johnson is elected, that they'll quit? Which is pretty funny because they are the biggest crybabies on the fucking entire planet. But they, of course, probably personally thought it would never happen, much like many people in Chicago with proximity to power thought that a person who is fond of socialism, a person who is like been very critical and spoken out on behalf of unions and striking, they said that they would fucking they thought that it would never happen, and they said that they would quit 800 to 1,000, right? So what's up with that? Are we waiting on the resignations? I would like to know when those resignations are going to come. Fuck do I... Yesterday, unique viewership number was 357,452, by the way. I looked it up. And on an average day, it's around 233,000. 230K. So, my unique viewership as in like my ratings, is still significantly smaller than Seth Meyers, who is, you know, still a TV show. Oh, here it is. I just wanted to get to the bottom of that, so now we know. TV ratings are not unique viewers, man. Seth Meyers' uniques would be in the tens of millions. Wait, no, that's not true. TV viewers, TV ratings are literally done like that. You think 10 million people, you work in TV analytics, you think 10 million people watch Seth Meyers every night? Are you fucking nuts, dude? You work in TV analytics? How the fuck do you think Nielsen TV ratings work? No wonder TV's failing. They got this motherfucker doing analytics. No. Seth Meyers' ratings imply that he's getting 700,000 people, 780,000 people watching him concurrently. Okay? That's what that means. Anyway. This would be cool if this would happen, honestly. Here is the new mayor of Chicago.
Convincing our members to wear a red t-shirt on Friday was a task. It took us a year to convince CTU members that it's okay to associate yourself with labor. The baby socialists would just wear the buttons, right? You know, we got to, start them off, gently. And so eventually they started putting on red t-shirts. And so building that sense of consciousness. Convincing our members.
That's the guy.
What would happen if you just didn't pay your bills?
Mayor Brandon Johnson! Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now.
Yeah, that's the new mayor of Chicago, baby. Of course, the Chicago Tribune. Mayor-elect Johnson found a place in his acceptance speech for God, but not Barack Obama. Which, by the way, is God. How dare he not have a place for Barack Obama? He's a black man, just like Barack Obama is, and also from Chicago. Wow, this is really fucked up. This headline's giving Bernie 2020 vibes. Yeah, except a lot of the stuff. Yeah, first of all, fuck Barack Obama. He can suck my dick. Barack Obama famously did not endorse him. Okay, so he can double suck me. That's number two. And number three, you know what? Actually, another fuck Obama, just for funsies. Like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck kind of argument is this? Oh man, he didn't say thank you, Mr. Obama, sir. Yeah, he must be an anti-black racist, I think. You know how it is. You know how it goes. Mainstream media. Luckily, one of the components of like American racism that actually does work in the favor of marginalized groups is that they literally, Americans just don't understand that like someone who is black could be anti-black, for example, which obviously works in the favor of Candace Owens when she's like doing Candace Owens shit, but also will work in the favor of socialists who are black themselves. When you try to tell a fucking random American that like a black socialist is anti-black, they're going to be like, The fuck are you saying? Shut up. Same with Bernie Sanders and anti-Semitism allegations, right? Americans are too stupid to comprehend that you could be Jewish and anti-Semitic, but like that actually works in the favor of someone like Bernie Sanders. When the same Democratic majority for America PAC that was led by the very same individuals in the UK that tarnished Jeremy Corbyn's reputation tried to do that similar kind of attack against Bernie Sanders, nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. Everyone was like, that's crazy. Shut the fuck up. Adam Johnson has a great take on this. The ideological work here is worth pointing out. It's so casual and banal, but it's impressive how the deck gets stacked. Chicago doesn't grapple with underinvestment, poverty, inequality, dispossession, or systemic racism. It always grapples with crime and insufficient austerity. That is how the neoliberal media cuts propaganda. This is the Associated Press. Understand, this is the Associated Press. This is supposed to be objective. But in that objectivity, you see the advocacy for neoliberal austerity measures and the only solution to crime coming from aggressive enforcement and police operating like an occupying force, and never about spending money in underfunded, underserved, underprivileged communities. Look at that. Brandon Johnson, a union organizer and former teacher, was elected as Chicago's next mayor on Tuesday in a major victory for the Democratic Party's progressive wing as the heavily blue city grapples with high crime and financial challenges. Don't think too much. You ruined everything. Is that on purpose, though? Of course it's on purpose. The way that you could objectively frame this, if you had a legitimate interest in emancipation, a legitimate interest in like advocating for the material equality of people, you could cut this article with the same exact title, the title that Adam Johnson wrote. Okay? Brandon Johnson, a union organizer and former teacher, was elected as Chicago's next mayor on Tuesday in a major victory for the Democratic Party's progressive wing as the heavily blue city voted for someone who said they would truly tackle underinvestment, poverty, systemic inequality, dispossession, and systemic racism. There you go. That's the correct way, the leftist way, but also the, objectively, in my opinion, correct way to cover that story. I don't think it's on purpose. I legitimately don't think they realize it. It's like the Chomsky line. Yeah, I know. When I talk about the media, I'm talking about like this organism. I'm not talking about the individuals that are like thinking this through or not. Do you not get what I'm saying? I'm saying like the media as a unit. The media as a unit is pumping this commentary out under the auspices of neutrality, objectivity, when there's two ways to cover this issue, and they rarely ever talk about the issue from the perspective of systemic solutions. Do you get it? A few days ago, the AP ran an article calling the U.S. abduction of an Iraqi child of war as an adoption. You mean the Afghan child? They did that. You're right. And CBS has been covering it too in the same exact way. This is why I say the media defends capital. The media is a defensive wing of capital. I am a little confused. Are you saying that everyone is taught to write and push stuff like this because it's supposed to be neutral? Okay. What I'm stating is that what they're writing here is an inherently right-wing attitude to crime. There's two solutions to crime. One is one that hasn't worked so far. Okay? Which is hyper enforcement, police spending more money on the police, and not trying to tackle the actual reasons as to why crime manifests, violent crime and the like. The AP article is not neutral. No media is neutral. There's no such thing as, objective, unbiased media coverage for the most part. Because neutrality simply implies, in a neoliberal system, neutrality simply implies that you are abiding by the system and making it seem like that is the default. Here, I'll give you an example. For the longest time, gaming is a new sector, but for the longest time, video games usually featured a white male as the primary character. That was seen as the default. So anything that strayed away from that was considered political. Okay? The Associated Press, if they wrote an article talking about the actual systemic reasons as to why crime works or crime manifests, systemic inequality, that would be considered editorializing and not neutral. Because neutral in this regard would be advocating for austerity measures and more police brutality or more funding for the police. Okay? But the default being a white male character is inherently a political concept. There is no real neutrality in this argument, in this headline, because they are interpreting a city's ongoing political problems. What? 60 hertz monitor, unfortunate. What is happening? Did Todek take a photo or something? Fucking guy, bro. He's right. I do. I know. He's like, dude, I got freaked out. I thought you motherfuckers were like, I thought you guys were like, you could hear him talking on the phone or something. Oh my God. Because he's on the phone behind me talking to someone to try to get a new monitor. Little bro brought his own fucking keyboard and mouse setup and everything. He's such a, I forget how sweaty fucking pro gamers are. Came over and he was like, bro, your monitors are 60 hertz. Like, what the fuck? Now, there's two factors here. Even if crime was like grappling with high crime, this would still be an unfair assessment. Okay? But also, it's not true. Crime is down everywhere on year-over-year trends. Homicide is down from 2021. Shootings are down from 2021. Crime is not higher. It's actually lower. Crime is up year over year within my house. Crime is also down on yearly trends as well. Why is it that crime seems to spike specifically around the U.S. election cycle? What would you say? What would you, Uncle, say about this? Specific areas of increases, huh? Yes. Homicide is the only type of crime that's up in Los Angeles, for example, which is a pretty significant crime to consider, except the reality is that it is not one that impacts the neighborhoods that my uncle frequents. It's simply a poverty issue regardless. Doesn't this show that the current way of treating crime is working? In my opinion, no. If you ask Uncle Sam Cedar, my real uncle, my true uncle, he will tell you that it's lead poisoning that caused this level of crime because there's no other way to factor into consideration a global decline in crime without any serious decline in poverty. Anyway. Are you saying there's less lead poisoning? Yes. Some 9.2 million lead pipes carry water into the homes across the U.S. with more in Florida than any other state. Oh my God. Bro, this literally... Oh my God, this explains so much. What the fuck? This literally... Oh my God, this literally explains Florida. We just cracked the fucking code. Remember when I used to say, I think there's something in the fucking water in Florida? Well, turns out I was right. That something is lead. This sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory, but it makes so much sense. So the lead take is not a unique one to Sam Cedar. Lead poisoning and lead contamination in gasoline is what many people account the like lost generation that was significantly more violent. Like an unprecedented amount of violence was seen in one particular generation. All of those fucking crazy Trump kooks that you see, it's not really a conspiracy theory. All of the crazy Trump kooks that you see that are in like a certain age range, they all are from that lead generation. Gen X was the most lead poison generation. The peak of crime was when they hit early adulthood. Yeah. By the way, there was a complete lead pipe replacement plan in Build Back Better and got blocked by Manchin and Cinema. Only cost $50 billion for the whole country. We spent $850 billion on the Pentagon each year. Seems like too much. More lead data lines up with your take. Oh yeah, this is my favorite. I've literally looked at this before. Yeah, here, look. Although looking at this lead chart, you can see why even being a few years older, I graduated in 1998, meant much shittier people. My birth year is 1980 circled, but by 81, look at that drop. This is distributing childhood blood lead levels by age in the United States. Lead was in the paint chips. Lead was in the gasoline. Probably in the pipes too, I suspect. Which hasn't really gone away. Yeah. Now, instead of lead poisoning, we have microplastics that we need to worry about, which is also fucking up our hormones. But this generation will be known, the Zoomers will be known as the microplastic generation or the PFAS generation, forever chemicals. Just like Gen X was noticeably lead poisoned, we will be noticeably microplastics poison. stupid question. What does lead poisoning do? It's not a stupid question. That's actually a very good question. Lead poisoning leads to aggressive, uncontrollable, and oftentimes violent behavior. Some people believe that this could have been a decline in the Roman Empire as well. Impact of lead in children in the Roman Empire. But obviously, Roman Empire spanned across a very long timeline, so a lot of speculation. Has been made on this issue. This is a 10-year-old, more than 10-year-old article talking about how lead could potentially be a cause for violent crime. It's the only consistent principle that they've found in numerous countries. All other factors controlled. Still, the new latest meta-analysis shows lead poisoning could have only contributed to 28% drop in violent crime rate. The rest of it is still unexplained. I mean, that's an insane number, dude. What the fuck? There's no planet in which like any kind of sociological component leads to a 28% increase or decrease where you go only 28%. That is literally the most considerable factor that you will ever conclusively point to. If a meta-analysis shows it leads to a 28% decrease in anything, then that is the sole contributor. 28% drop can be explained by lead poisoning. That's what I'm saying. That's a gigantic fucking drop. Oh, 28% of the drop can be explained by lead poisoning. Oh, I misunderstood. I don't know. Still significant. But regardless. Still massive. My mom was a Gen Xer. She said there was even lead testing sheets at schools in the 80s. Lead from gasoline blunted the IQ by half the U.S. population. Study says leaded gas was banned in 1996, but exposure to poison cost people born before then several IQ points on average, researchers estimated. And this is like a super... This is something that has been studied. It's a super common theory. It's the reason why I brought it up now is because... Sorry. It's a super common theory, and the reason why I brought it up now in this circumstance is because at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break, and if you no longer want to be poisoned by that, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. I don't want to poison your experience with the top of the hour ad break contaminants, but like I said, you can avoid the top of the hour ad break contaminants by subscribing for $5 or for free. The effect on Baltimore. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Nessa Beavers, thank you for the 5. Get the subs. Studies between cities, states, and nations show that the rise and fall in crime follows with a roughly 20-year lag. The rise and fall in the exposure of infants to trace quantities of lead. But all that gives us is correlation, an association that can be coincidental. Mother Jones' article, which is based on several scientific papers, claimed causation. I began by reading the papers. Do they say what the article claims? They do. Then I looked up the citations, discussions of those papers in the scientific literature. The 3 whose citations I checked have been mentioned between them 301 times. To my astonishment, I could find just one study attacking the thesis, and this was sponsored by the Ethyl Corporation, which happens to be a major manufacturer of the petrol additive tetraethyl lead. I found many more supporting it. Crazy as this seems, it really does look as if lead poisoning could be the major cause of rise and fall of violent crime. Veritasium, I think we might have watched that. If I were to speculate out of my ass, totally in the least educated way possible, but my educated guess on the nonviolent crime rate dropping, alongside the violent crime rate dropping, if lead is not the only factor of consideration, in spite of the fact that extreme poverty across the board has not been eviscerated in the way that, like, capitalist countries love to claim they did, with the exception of China. What I would speculate is that technological advancements create the semblance of like, not an actual eradication of poverty, but technological advancements growing and exponential growth has created a system in which you feel as though there is a little bit more that you can do with less. It's the idea that you think you are more free because you can fucking purchase a cheap television or you have a phone in your hand. And technically, you are a more productive laborer in that regard. So, in a way, technological achievements improve your conditions, improve even life expectancy, for example, even if you don't fucking have full-blown access to all the amenities of every single bit of technological achievement. It basically improves your life living conditions, even if you are not a direct beneficiary of said technological improvements. So that's what I think. That is what my suspicion is, rather. Does that make sense? No? It doesn't make sense to you? I mean, a poor person being able to, 20 years ago, a poor person could not afford a mobile phone. Mobile phones didn't even fucking exist. Now, 20 years later, a poor person can afford an iPhone, has significantly more amenities, significantly more access, in spite of the fact that their living conditions, in comparison to other people's living conditions, are still fucking awful. You've made marginal improvements. This is what Steven Pinker talks about all the time. The difference is, they fucking point to, or well, 20 years ago was 2003. It was like mobile phones were coming out at that point. So it wasn't like, dude, I'm so old. I said mobile phones didn't exist 20 years ago. I apologize. Mobile phones existed 20 years ago, obviously, because it was only 2003. And I'm 30 years old and not 20 years old anymore. I'm a fucking idiot. Yes, I said the wrong thing. My point is, you didn't have fucking smartphones that were readily available, okay? Smartphones were not immediately and readily available 20 years ago to every single person in the same way that they are now, okay? Obviously, mobile phones existed, but not like smartphones with some level of internet plan, okay? it was a major luxury, I would say. So that, although your overall opportunities for growth, opportunities for prosperity have diminished over the course of the past 20 years, the amenities that you get living in a society where technological advancements are happening around you are tremendous. So you experience some of those benefits and you see like you think you have marginal improvements in your life when overall you're just simply making more work with less. You get it? Here, I mean, we've looked at this data before as well. Change in price for U.S. consumer goods and services since 2008. Here. The cumulative price change since the financial crisis. By the way, this is even worse when you compare it to like even before 2008. Hospital services and the cumulative price change since the financial crisis in 2008 for hospital services is 99.8%, whereas TVs have remained as cheap as possible and have only consistently gotten cheaper and cheaper. Smartphones have gotten cheaper and cheaper. Software has gotten cheaper. Some of those amenities are truly life-changing. Software, I would say that software and mobile phone services are life-changing amenities. They're not simple distractions. TV is a simple distraction. It's a simple, it's just like a cheap. Toys are treats. TV would be in the treat category, but mobile phone services and software would not be considered in that, in my opinion. Aren't the new iPhones like $1,200 new? How are they cheaper? Oh my God, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. Okay. Yes, the newest iPhones are very expensive. Every time we have a conversation about fucking iPhones or mobile phones, everybody goes, aren't newer iPhones like $1,200? Yes, but in comparison to a fucking iPhone that you can get that is an older generation that's infinitely more accessible now, 20 fucking years ago, no such technology even existed. Please understand that that is what I'm talking about. You don't need the marginally better product. Like, I could be buying a new iPhone every fucking year, and I don't do that. Why? Because you don't need to do that, okay? Then the second part of this conversation always revolves around Androids are cheaper. It's the fucking true, it's the true mobile phone of the proletariat. Meanwhile, the fucking most expensive Samsung phones are literally price adjusted to the most expensive iPhones. Technological improvements make people feel as though their lives are better. And in some ways, they do truly make your lives better, right? That's it. I think that is the reason why, in spite of like, I think that is what kind of improves people's existence, like material realities, while their overall big budget needs for survival, needs for inelastic demand, need for upward social mobility, the single most important factor for upward social mobility, needs for survival, needs for survival, needs for survival, needs for survival in the form of shelter, are all still infinitely more expensive and getting more and more expensive by the fucking year. Okay? CPI is a consumer price index. I'm taking a screenshot of this so I can pull it up next time someone tries to make that stupid fucking argument. No, I just ate, bro. Only 10% of your hospital goes towards paying doctors, by the way. The rest goes towards CEOs, admin, and insurance companies that literally don't contribute at all to the patient's healthcare and only serve as middlemen and raise prices. Yes. Anyway, the entire video shows that globalization has pushed the price of consumer goods down, especially those which are truly global industries. Even car prices have stayed more or less stable. Also, electronics are cheaper only because of the existence of the electronic industry in Asia. The phone would be way more expensive if it was manufactured in the U.S. and Europe. I mean, that's true, too. But what you're describing is exploitation of the global south, exploitation of the third world in general, exploitation of the third world labor in general that has led to cheap consumer goods that are easily affordable commodities such as TVs. But the thing is, you can live without a fucking television. I wouldn't say you can live without mobile phone services. In this day and age, it's absolutely essential that everyone has a fucking phone. However, you literally will die without hospital services or medical care. You will literally die without food and drink. You will literally die without housing. And everything that you need, everything that is either like, everything that either has inelastic demand or close to inelastic demand has consistently gone up. So my point is, as much as I am a hedonist who advocates for cheap consumer goods to a certain degree and believes that like that kind of thing has a sedative effect on the overall attitudes that people have, it definitely curbs revolutionary potential. Or at least makes you more docile and easier to lead, which, if a government is doing a good job, is not a bad thing necessarily. When a government is doing a bad job and there is capitalism, it's weaponized in a very insidious and fucked up way. It pushes you away from recognizing the contradictions. Anyway, how do we get here? We were talking about crime. We're talking about lead poisoning and potential contributions to crime. And what I personally believe is that there is a there's an improvement in the material conditions of all laborers across the world. Like, it's almost like a trickle down effect. Not real trickle down though. It's simply that technology is expansive. It's constantly growing. It's constantly getting better. And that technological development makes you basically feel as though you have better material conditions. Anyway. Not exactly thrilled with JB sitting this race out, but he gets it. Governor Pritzker was asked today about his react to yesterday's mayoral race. Brandon Johnson, the reporter said, barely won the race, which is an odd thing to say because Johnson's currently ahead by 3 percentage points, and that lead is expected to grow as more mail-in ballots are received. But here's his response. Well, let's start by saying congratulations to Brandon Johnson on his big win. I think there were a lot of people who were surprised, and in fact, when you say it was a small margin, actually, I think there were people who thought he would lose by a larger margin than he ended up winning by. But he won. And he overcame, I think, suggestions that he couldn't. And so anybody that's ever run for public office knows that when you can overcome expectations and eke out or succeed in winning, especially in an important city like Chicago, this is JB Pritzker, big boy. Big boy's neighborhood, defending another big boy. I think Brandon Johnson could be considered a big boy, potentially. Not as big as JB. JB is the biggest of big boys, but anyway. They deserve enormous kudos. I look forward to working with a mayor like Johnson. I spoke with him last night. He was still celebrating and had a very long day, but we'll be meeting, no doubt, over the next couple of weeks as he moves in his transition to make sure that the state of Illinois is doing whatever we can to be supportive of him as mayor, as we are all mayors across the state. If America balkanizes, the Midwest is looking strong, by the way. I'm not even kidding. I think Gretchen Whitmer even has some solid fundamentals there. It's very odd, but I see the Midwest rising up. That's all I'm going to say. Its bona fides are looking really good. Ohio, on the other hand, more dog shit than ever. Oh my fucking Lord. Ohio, shame on you. Poo-poo caca, okay? That's all I'm going to say about Ohio. I'll leave it at that. Ohio's trying to be fucking Florida so bad. It's weird. Disgusting. Yuck. Anyway. Yeah, someone should look at the lead poisoning in Ohio, honestly. Look, he's younger than most of the mayors that have gotten elected. He's somebody who comes out of an activist background. I think there's a lot to admire about him. He's a teacher, and I believe that he will bring a certain vibrancy to the city, so I'm excited about that. And I want to make sure that all the very important things that Chicago needs to work on, whether it's balancing its budget, paying its pensions, all the stuff that sounds boring to everybody and doesn't get brought up sometimes in the midst of an election campaign, but are very important for the future of the city, that those are just baseline things. And I want to state, to be helpful in that endeavor as we are trying to be for municipalities across the state. So I do believe that this is a change for the city, something new. But you know what? It's a new generation of voters that come to the polls. There's a change that's gone across the Midwest, I might add, that people who believe in investing in workers, investing in families, investing in young people have come to leadership positions of governors, as mayors in states. Think about Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota and how those legislatures turned Democratic in Michigan and Minnesota. We're not going to talk about Wisconsin in that regard. We'll just keep the Wisconsin Supreme Court dub as what it is. We are not going to talk about Wisconsin and one of the worst gerrymandered states of all fucking time. Like literally historically, you could have like 99% Democratic vote and still have Republicans control the state legislature. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. That's not the case. But it's like damn near the case. Holy fuck. Anyway. It's really fucked up. I mean, Wisconsin is so busted. Okay. And so I think he's part of a kind of sea change that's going on in what I guess politically we'd all call the blue wall. Later, in talking about gun violence, Pritzker returned to the topic of the mayor's race without mentioning Paul Velez by name. There was one candidate who made out crime as if it was a single issue. You know, that it has one facet to it, and that is putting more law enforcement on the street. Now, I happen to think that we do need more law enforcement on the street, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you should do. That doesn't solve the problem by itself. You also have to make sure that, again, that we're providing resources for mental health and substance use treatment. And many of the young people who are getting a hold of guns are in need of mental health and substance use treatment. And if we can address those issues, we take a huge burden off the police, and I believe reduce violent crime significantly because we're addressing some of the underlying causes. Pritzker was also asked if he had any reaction to the school board race across the state. Yes, my reaction is that fortunately, the voters saw through the hidden extremists, which, by the way, that doesn't address the entirety of the problem. The gun violence in Chicago has significantly less to do with substance abuse than it does, or mental health issues, than it does with poverty and a lack of social amenities and a lack of social spending that neighboring towns, neighboring municipalities enjoy due to their material wealth, due to how wealthy these neighborhoods are. It's not like Naperville is any different than the south side of Chicago. There's still people in the south side of Chicago, and there's still people in fucking Naperville. Okay? It's the socioeconomic inequality that leads to violent teenage crime. Okay? That's it. Like something as simple and as stupid that you would think, because it's like, what the fuck? But something as simple as like literally after school programs, a basketball league could unironically and has unironically led to a significant noticeable decrease in violent crime amongst the demographics that that are normally contributing to the violent crime. I'm talking like younger kids. Something as stupid as opportunity for fun. Yeah, no, straight up. Is Naperville like a real place you mention all the time? It sounds like a fake place where rich people live. I'm not from the U.S. Yes. I love utilizing Naperville because it's a fucking, would it be considered an exurb? It's a suburb. And that's where all the like rich white kids who claim Chicago, who claim like they're from Chicago, will always act like, I mean, that's Naperville. Every time you see a Zoomer with a perm and a fucking high and tight fade underneath it, you know, the ramen noodle hair, going, on God, for real, you ain't slide for Vaughn, dog. You ain't slide for Vaughn. Know that they are most likely from Naperville, okay? Anytime you see an Aiden Ross fan out in the fucking wild wearing crew socks with the new Nike sliders, or are they Adidas sliders, like the ones that Yeezy, like the Yeezy lookalike sliders? Those are the guys from Naperville. Just read the meta-analysis. Exacerbation of crime through deterioration of the social environment was not factored in. Partial correlation was but 0.16, but they took out socioeconomic factors, so that's notable with the context above in mind. Also, 500 is a pretty small sample size. Can you explain how you know this about Naperville? You're 100% correct, but you're not supposed to know this is a Chicago-lander. Is it Felix? No. I was, I guess, very fortunate or unfortunate. I don't know which way you would cut it. But when I first moved to Los Angeles, I met a bunch of dudes that all came from Naperville. And then I met a bunch of their friends from back home. And immediately I clocked it as motherfuckers who love saying they're from Chicago, but are not from Chicago. And as someone who is unfamiliar with Chicago, I thought, that's so odd that these guys are talking about like being from Chicago, but don't resemble the type of person that would have grown up in a city, let alone a black, brown, or poorer part of a city. As someone who grew up in cities my whole life, I know when someone is from a city in general. You know? And these guys definitely did not give I grew up in the city vibes. And since then, my Naperville Andy memes have developed through my understanding of drill music and its primary consumers. You know, over the course of many years, I learned more about Naperville. Can you go to Naperville? Yeah, I do need to check in with Kyler and Tanner if I go to Naperville, lest I get shot because it's on site. They'll be driving by with their, you know, their mother's Toyota Sienna. I'm basically directly calling out like a big chunk of this audience too. Anyway, don't forget Kyler's girlfriend, McKaylee. Oh yeah, 100%. And also, you're missing a couple different vowels there. McKaylee is not written with a A-Y-L-E-E. It's written with an A-E-I-G-H. Yeah, like that. Where you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how did you write it like that? We're unpacking a lot about white culture here today. Anyway. Yes, my reaction is that fortunately the voters saw through the hidden extremists who were running for school board across the Chicago suburbs and surrounding counties. Just to be clear, Cook County suburbs and surrounding counties, I mean. Really, you know, the extremists got trounced yesterday and has been acknowledged by some, the more extremist politicians in the state overnight and this morning on Facebook and elsewhere. And I'm glad that those folks were shown up and frankly tossed out. So that's it. Good news coming out of Chicago, though. People are pointing out how embarrassing this is, but to make a more pedestrian observation, Obama didn't endorse or campaign for Johnson, and some key figures from Obama would endorse his opponent. Obama world endorses his opponent. Why the hell would Johnson mention Obama? Exactly. If Obama voted in Chicago, he would 100%, without even a shadow of doubt, have voted for Paul Vallas. He's a conservatively minded actor whose main concern since leaving office has been getting obscenely rich, not the Pope of progressive politics. The only thing linking Mayor-elect Let's Go Brandon Johnson to Barack Obama is the color of their skin. And, of course, that is going to be enough for places like the Chicago Tribune. Every fucking neoliberal mainstream media outlet loves running the same fucking lines. You know? In many respects, there's no difference between this and some fucking Fox News watcher looking at a black guy, pointing to him and going, that's a Democrat. That's woke. Literally. It's just like two sides of the same fucking coin.
Officers who see him as their worst nightmare. He's going to be facing a business community that is definitely worried about some of his pronounced policy positions. And of course, the billionaires who continue to fund the charter school movement are going to be also going to find a difficult situation with the new mayor. So we're going to be a key aspect of this, of course, was the power and the mobilization and the money of major labor unions like the service.
We're going to try to do a business plot on Brandon Johnson. The Illinois Chamber of Commerce has decided that there's a new mayor in Chicago. America is doing a paramilitary coup in Chicago by way of the police department and taking out Brandon Johnson and then putting in the Illinois Chamber of Commerce leader as the new mayor of Chicago. We've decided. Stop giving them ideas. I mean, it's just like they won't do that, but they'll fucking undermine him at every step of the way unless he gets like actual support from JB Pritzker. Yes, the business leaders in Chicago will unironically do everything in their fucking power to fuck this entire process up, as they have done time and time again to any fucking DA that's like, hey, maybe the police shouldn't murder 14-year-olds. Like, if you're a DA anywhere in America, and you have said things like, perhaps we should have a little bit more police accountability, it's over for you. Okay? It's fucking Jover. Okay? They will do everything and anything they can to be like, the police unions will unironically do everything in their fucking power to destroy you. On top of that, business leaders will like collaborate with the police unions to say, oh God, these cops are not doing their jobs because of the fucking woke DA. Same shit goes for mayors as well. Same shit goes for anyone in proximity to power that has an opinion that is a little bit outside, maybe a little bit to the left of like the regular neoliberal norms. Think about the prior two mayors of Chicago and you will understand what I'm talking about. You got Lori Lightfoot, and before that you had absolute demon Rahm Emanuel. So, we'll see.
SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, the Teachers Union, especially the Chicago Teachers Union, those were the main bulwarks of the ground organization that Brandon Johnson was able to put together, as well as the financing that.
One reason I'm not as confident in a Brandon win is that this framing of the race, which is just straight up wrong, has been accepted and promoted as true by much of the political media, and this framing inherently helps Vallas. Vallas is the charter school candidate, not the FOP candidate. Vallas would sell CPT to the Saudi Public Investment Fund if he could. But by framing this as a race as Mr. No More Crime versus Mr. No More Cops, Vallas largely ducked his charter school ties. The cornerstone of Vallas' public safety plan is to have retired cops give up their extremely generous pensions and unretire. It's unserious and openly hints at a plan to ultimately raise the CPT's retirement age, but because he's the white conservative candidate, it sticks. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I didn't pay that close attention to the Chicago mayoral race, I'll admit. I felt pretty confident in narrow but clear Brandon win 3 to 5 points as recently as a week and a half ago. The runoff was progressing about as I expected, but the flood of right-wing money really salvaged Velas's floundering runoff campaign. Now the vibes feel different. I will say the demographic crosstabs in the final poll feel right, though I think it'll be closer to 58-42 Velas among white voters. Still, that should be enough for Brandon to win. It is telling that the Velas-aligned M3 strategies release public polls seemingly every week in round one when Velas took the lead, but have kept their results private all runoff. Doesn't necessarily mean they have Velas losing, but it's interesting. Single-handedly making Velas sound cooler just by mispronouncing his name. Wait, how do you say his name? Vallis? Vallis? Is that how you say it? I don't fucking know. Vallis wins if a substantial number of undecided black voters breaks his way or stays home, or if there's a surge in white, shy Vallis voters on the north side. One thing I'm relatively confident about is that we'll know the winner tonight. There will be lots of tens of thousands of outstanding mail ballots counted. Vallis is a charter school candidate, not the FOP candidate. We already covered that. The cornerstone of Vallis is public plan. Okay, yeah. Yes. I did see this. A North Carolina Democrat swapped parties today because she was called amosexual, giving Republicans a supermajority in the state. Yes.
He was able to raise.
Well, of course, we'll continue to follow what happens in Chicago with you right there in the middle of everything, Juan.
Okay, another good victory for the progressive judge. We talked about that last night as well. Tennessee lawmakers facing expulsion talks, and he's expulsion, and he talked to CNN, but we're going to skip that. Oh, breaking news. Baltimore Catholic officials engaged in a cover-up of sexual abuse of at least 600 victims over a span of 60 years. Maryland Attorney General accuses in a new report. This is breaking news, but also the least surprising news, but also some of the most fucked up news that you could read, I guess. Attorney General Anthony Brown names priests and describes their alleged wrongdoing in a 463-page report. The report documents depraved systemic failure of the archdiocese to protect the most vulnerable, the children it was charged to keep safe. Yeah, it's always the people you suspect the most. Oh, I forgot to cover this as well. This is a really interesting story that is also not interesting. I'm just kidding. It's just cruel, unusual, but of course, certainly expected. Barry Weiss wrote an article. I felt bullied. Mother of child treated at transgender center speaks out. Caroline was told that a puberty blocker would relieve her child's psychological distress. That's not what happened. Emily Yoffe wrote this article on the FP, the free press, independent media, the free journalism, free to just fucking dunk on trans people as hard as possible. Then, turns out, the 16-year-old that is in the article reinstalled Twitter to respond to the story and make sure that their voice was heard. I am Casey. My real name is Alex, but my mom decided it would be best to hide it for anonymity. But this is my story, not hers. This is not the free press's story. About a week ago, my mom contacted Emily Yoffe without my knowledge and told her what was supposed to be our story. She expressed her frustration with the transgender clinic at the Washington University, many of which are false perceptions that my mom has about the doctors and the clinic. I learned of this article through my mom over the phone when she asked if it was okay at the Free Press Free Press published this article. I said that I wanted to read it first. When I read the draft, I was disgusted with what the reporter and my mom had made my experience out to be. Upon interviewing Emily Yaffe myself, I was told that I had no say in whether or not the article was published. I asked if my consent was required to publish the article, and the reporter told me that's not how these things work. Says, sorry, kid. You're going to be a part of the anti-trans propaganda machine. After she had edited the article and published it, I had not found this out until 20 hours later. I was extremely frustrated. The article makes it out that my mother had no say in the implant of the Supprelin. This is completely false. My mother claims that she was pressured into saying yes by the doctors. A big issue they point out is that the doctors quoted suicide statistics in transgender adolescents. I do not deny that these statistics were quoted, but I also sustain that the doctors didn't say that I was at substantial risk for this. The article mentions that my grades dropped from A's to B's to D's and F's in a semester. This is a completely exaggerated statement. Imagine dunking on a child, like dunking on a trans child's like grades. My grades were on a steady decline since 2020 due to unrelated mental health concerns. Speaking of mental health, the article claims that my mental health issues can be attributed to the Supprelin implant. However, my personal experience shows that this is not the case. Since COVID-19, my mental health has been declining, and it was already an issue. I was in counseling with the Washington University Transgender Care Center, in which I was treated amazingly by my counselor. She was a friend to me and offered a great amount of support. This was taken away when my mom revoked consent for the Supprelin. After she revoked consent, my father and I, along with the university, attempted to set up a meeting with my mom. She did not attend this meeting, claiming that she was not contacted. Later, she admitted that she was. When you talked to the reporter, did you give her permission to use your medical records for information? I think that may have been a violation. Talk to your dad about it. You can go to a lawyer and ask questions for free. It sounds like the clinic didn't hand over records, but the reporter took the word of your mother. Not okay. Your medical information should not be public because it would make a good story. I'm sorry to say, but you're 100% wrong here. There's zero liability on the part of the media in this case. Now, whether the mom did something actionable is a different question. Flip this freak. No kid want to be trans is just brainwashing. No kid want to be trans. I don't think anyone wants to be trans. I think people are just, they are. You know what I mean? So technically, he's not wrong, this person, Jahan96. No one's like, oh man, sure love being trans originally. Like, it's just a thing that they are. You know what I mean? And society constantly tells them that it's actually wrong to feel that way, which leads to a relatively high suicide rate, in my opinion. So, you know, the brainwashing is on the other side, in my opinion. The treason. The mom responded in the most narcissistic way possible. Here is realtor mama entrepreneur Caroline Miller says, actually, babe, they gave me 2 days notice and sent an email confirmation that only found last week. They were supposed to call me on speaker and never did. Also, I was not going to get that meeting without an attorney. Let's get it all out there. Parent of a queer child, the only reason your child needs to speak out now is because you felt the need to speak out and misrepresent their story. This is actually my story about how I was treated as a parent at the center. Alex has a story too, but this article wasn't it. Don't confuse the two. Holy fuck, dude. Some parents are just so dog shit. Vile shit. Poor people pile on the mom on Twitter. Just want to share this explicitly that that's not what the kid wants. Do not under any circumstance contact my mother. Leave her alone. I don't care if you disagree with her. Bro, what the fuck is this? She made a Twitter account that proudly declared that it was her story to tell, completely ignoring the target she single-handedly put on your back. Should we ignore her tweets too? Yes. Yes, you should. You literally, yes, you should do that. I don't understand why the fuck, like, when a 16-year-old trans kid says, leave my mom alone, please, and you go, nah, fuck that, actually. I'm going to fight your mom on your behalf. Speaking of trans issues, what the fuck is this? Kansas Republicans just overrode the governor's veto to enact a bill requiring genital inspections on student athletes. These people are sick. Oh, nice. We can add this to the list of far-right anti-youth policies, but this is so creepy and disturbing. I mean, yeah, penis inspection day, baby. Coming to a school near you. Yeah, we just gotta get the PE teachers to look at every fucking student's genitals. You know what I mean? Me when I piss on the penis checker. Well, that kind of happens when you get your physical. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that for a second. You know, that kind of happens when you get your physical versus like having it happen because you're playing fucking high school or middle school volleyball. And it also happens by a doctor. Don't know who's going to fucking do it at schools. I'm assuming they'll still make a doctor do it. But, you know, you do realize there's like a medical component. Like there's a medical procedure is entirely different. It's literally the same as, bro. It's like, it's like if Ohio passed a bill where they could like do open heart surgery on you. You know what I mean? Well, actually, Sweaty, doctors do open heart surgeries on children all the time. Okay, so they should do that for no fucking apparent reason as well. I mean, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, an open heart surgery is not the same as like fucking penis inspection day. But that is an unreal thing to try and describe. Kansas Republicans just overrode the Democratic governor's veto, enacting a new law that allows for forced genital inspection on children to make sure they're not transgender. Bro, like, I mean, you're a pedophile. I'm sorry. You're just straight up a pedophile. If this is your goal, if this is like the bill you're passing for like the 11 trans children that may or may not be interested in playing like fucking middle school sports, you're just a pedophile. Like, who do you think is gonna get hit with this? Anytime a female athlete's performing, cis, trans, doesn't fucking matter. Oh, that's trans. That's a trans athlete. We gotta bring them in. We gotta bring them in for penis inspection day. See if they have a fucking penis. It's like, just think it through, please. Think it fucking through. Who does this help? Why does that have to happen? Do you think that this is a valid thing to do? Both chambers barely met the 2/3 threshold to override the governor's March veto, the third year in a row, and Kelly rejected the legislation. Kansas is now the 20th state to pass a transgender student-athlete ban into law. It sort of breaks my heart, Kelly said. It certainly is disappointing. I know that there's some legislators for whom this was a very, very, very hard vote, and I think that they will regret as they look back. Oh, man, they will regret. Oh, it was really hard for them. Following the House vote, Representative Susan Ruiz, a Shawnee Democrat, stood up and addressed some of the Republican lawmakers who voted for the ban, telling them they were full of shit. The legislation requires children to participate in school activities based on the gender they were assigned at birth from elementary school to college. Challenges could require them to undergo genital inspections or require a birth certificate for the proof of child's gender. Nice. There are going to be constant trans investigations in every school, despite there only about probably being 5 trans athletes in the whole state. Exactly. Is one of the several pieces of legislation aimed at transgender use across the state, including a proposed Women's Bill of Rights that would ban transgender women from female-designated spaces and a bill that would block access to gender-affirming treatment for those under the age of 18. Yeah, this will impact more cis people than it impacts trans people. Do you want to know why? Because there aren't that many fucking trans people out there. There are a lot of cis people, though, and some of these fucking freaks are just going to go, oh, you're trans. Time to do a transvestigation on your fucking 12-year-old daughter. Have fun, Republican parents of 12-year-old daughters who happen to be, athletically competent. An act concerning education related to student athletes created in the Fairness of Women's Sports Act. Oh, my God. Scholastic, intercollegiate, intramural club or athletic teams or sports that are sponsored by a public educational entity or schools or private post-secondary educational whose students' teams compete against public education entities shall expressly designate as one, males, men or boys, females, women or girls, co-ed or mixed. Athletic teams or sports designated for females, women, or girls shall not be open to students of the male sex. Kansas State High School Activities Association shall adopt rules and regulations for its member schools to implement provisions of this section. Any student who is subject to the retaliation or other adverse action by a public educational entity or athletic association or organization and amendments thereto, an employer representative of such public educational entity shall have a private cause of action for injunctive relief, damages, or any other relief available under the law against such public educational entity. So you can fucking sue schools too if there's a trans athlete. That's nice. Let's see. Any student, all civil actions must be initiated within 2 years after the harm occurred. The harm of having one of 2 trans athletes in middle school in Kansas participate in an athletic competition alongside cis athletes. When they say the harm, immediately, there's only 3 and 2 are graduating high school. Yeah. No, I'm glad. Jeremy Holiday, spokesman for the Kansas State High School Activities Association, said, of the 106,000 students participating in the organization's sports and activities, only 3 are transgender girls. 2 of those transgender girls are set to graduate this spring. This is yet another instance where they wrote a law specifically owning one trans child. When this was going through Ohio, Columbus dispatched a lot of reporting on it. In a space of 6 years, in a span of 6 years, Ohio only had 35 trans male athletes and 11 trans female athletes. Yeah. 1. This happened in Utah. There was literally 1 girl in the entire state of Utah that was trans. 1. Where does it say who gets to do the fucking penis inspection? I don't see anywhere where it says medical professionals are doing the examination. Usually the PE teacher does it. Yeah, no shot. Yeah, it says the nearest white male has to do the inspection. No, the nearest white Republican congressperson. Yeah. And the inspection needs to be overseen by the archdiocese as well. It's so weird that they wrote that in there. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, it's like the nearest Republican congressperson does the teenage genital inspection day, and it has to be overseen by the entirety of the priests in the region. So odd. Anyway. Cool stuff. Lots of fun stuff happening in this country as material conditions deteriorate, especially in red states. People get more and more cool about distractions that shift your attention away from the real problems. You actually have a 60 hertz monitor? No, my actual monitor is not 60 hertz. The monitor in Studio B, the second studio, is 60 hertz, though. Okay? North Carolina lawmaker switches parties and gives Republicans unlimited power. There it is. A Democratic state legislator in North Carolina, this lady. You know what? Let's listen to the article.
North Carolina lawmaker switches parties, gives Republicans unlimited power. A Democratic state legislator in North Carolina is switching parties just 3 months after being sworn in, giving North Carolina Republicans the ability to pursue their agenda with a veto-proof majority over Democratic Governor Roy Cooper. Representative Tricia Cotham's decision sparked fears that Republicans would use their new power to pursue legislation such as an abortion ban, in a state that's become an unlikely outpost for abortion access since Roe v. Wade was overturned last year. Cotham's switch was first reported by Axios Raleigh on Tuesday. She did not respond to a request for comment from Vice News Tuesday, but that afternoon, her staff cleared out her desk on the Democratic side of the aisle and she took her place on the Republican side. A press conference with Cotham and North Carolina Republican leaders was scheduled for Wednesday morning at the North Carolina GOP's Raleigh headquarters. Democratic Party leaders forcefully condemned Cotham's move. Representative Robert Reeves, the leader of Cotham's now former caucus, blasted her in a statement Tuesday afternoon, saying she betrayed her Democratic-leaning constituents and the values she campaigned for, and calling for her resignation. That is not the person that was presented to the voters of House District 112. That is not the person those constituents campaigned for in a hard primary, and who they championed in a general election in a 60% Democratic district, Reeves said. Those constituents deserve to know what values were most important to their elected representative. State Party Chair Anderson Clayton and Mecklenburg County Chair Jane Whitley called the switch deceit of the highest order in a joint statement, and also called on her to resign. Representative Cotham's decision is a betrayal to the people of HD 112 with repercussions not only for the people of her district, but for the entire state of North Carolina, the statement said. Cotham was elected to represent a district in the Charlotte area in November. It was her second tenure in the legislature. She had previously served for 10 years before declining to run for re-election in 2016.
Wake up!
During her first tenure in the House, Cotham was a mostly liberal Democrat and vocally opposed Republican efforts to limit access to abortion. In 2015, during a debate over a bill to mandate a 72-hour waiting period to obtain an abortion, Cotham spoke about her own abortion of a non-viable fetus on the floor.
Fuck. Uh-oh.
including being called a baby killer by a GOP colleague. "I don't think I had emotionally moved on," Cotham told Time in 2015. "The real healing came that day on the floor." After the draft of the ruling that overturned Roe was leaked last May, Cotham said in a tweet that North Carolina needed leaders who were unwavering and unapologetic in their support of abortion rights, and that she would fight to codify Roe in the General Assembly, and continue my strong record of defending the right to choose. In January, she co-sponsored a bill, introduced by Democrats, to do just that. Abortion is currently legal in North Carolina up to 20 weeks. Since Roe was overturned, North Carolina has become a refuge for patients seeking abortions in the South, one that's set to become even more important, considering Republicans in Florida will soon likely ban all abortions after 6 weeks.
Nice!
A group that operates 3 clinics in North Carolina reported in November that more than half of its patients were from out of state, according to NC Policy Watch. It's so far unclear how Cotham's party switch will affect her support for abortion rights. North Carolina Republicans have discussed a number of proposals including a 6-week ban, the AP reported in February, but have so far been unable to coalesce around a single strategy. Cotham's decision could also have implication for a host of other issues, such as LGBTQ+ rights, education, gun laws, voting rights, and criminal justice. Cooper was first elected in 2016, and while he's been constrained by Republican legislative majorities, he has limited Republican priorities and even brokered some major deals, such as a partial repeal of HB 2 and expanding Medicaid after a decade of Republican resistance to the Affordable Care Act. The last time North Carolina Republicans had a veto-proof majorities in the General Assembly, along with former Republican Governor Pat McCrory in the governor's mansion, they remade the state into a model for right-wing politics across the country. Cotham had faced criticism from Democrats last week after she and 2 other legislators were absent during a vote to override Cooper's veto on a bill loosening gun regulations. Cotham later said in a statement to WBTV that she was receiving treatment for long COVID symptoms at the time and that she opposed the veto override. During her 5-year hiatus from elected office, Cotham, a former teacher and assistant principal, spent time as the president of a charter school operator.
Of course.
After her election to the legislature for a second time last November, Republican House Speaker Tim Moore appointed Cotham as a co-chair of the House Education Committee, where she was voting with Republicans even prior to this week. Cotham sought to downplay speculation about why Republican leaders would give a chairmanship to a Democrat. "I stand strongly on my record for working with Republicans and Democrats and all different types of organizations," Cotham told Spectrum News in February. "Does that make me a target? How are..."
Won her election by 20%, by the way. Deep Blue district that she stole. Yeah, no, I think that the Democratic Party should keep putting centrists like this as like the only viable candidate in deep blue states. And I think that American democracy is great. It's wonderful. That's so sick. Actually. AI gonna replace you so fast, dog? Yeah, hopefully. Knowing someone's position on charter schools tells you exactly if the person is corrupt, 100% accurate always. Oh, yeah. I can't say what I truly feel about what to do with a politician like this. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't on this platform, but I'm thinking it. You know, I'm thinking it. You can't stop me from thinking those thoughts, those very not super kind thoughts. They're not kind. I'm thinking that they should be subjected to a lifetime of top of the hour ad breaks, let's say, with no way of subscribing to avoid them. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, well, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite podcaster. Hopefully that's me. You know, you can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Don Lemon's misogyny has seen and exposed malicious texts mocking female coworkers and diva-like behavior. I'm not really all that interested in this. I'm kind of bored. For real, though, this has got to be some sort of fraud. Yeah. Legitimately think the DOJ civil rights should investigate whether this was pre-planned and whether she defrauded voters. New North Carolina Rep Tricia Cotham, who won election into a deep blue Charlotte area as a Democrat just 5 months ago, changed parties Tuesday, a move that gives Republicans a veto-proof majority. Officially, I have no idea. Unofficially, it's been widely rumored for the better part of the year now that she had been in a relationship between, there has been a relationship between the rep and the speaker. She was the first person several people thought when Jim Blaine tweeted on November 8th that one of 3 Ds would switch. Greg, do you know what's going on with the Democrat who just became a Republican in the North Carolina state's legislature? Eggplant emoji. I don't know, dude. What the fuck is this? This is random. I don't think it's like sex. I don't think it's like a Kevin McCarthy style situation. Why is this video lit up so poorly?
Number 5, Trayvon Martin. What's up?
Oh! It's on.
Trayvon? I hate looking at those watermelon eaters in my community.
Yo! He's like, hell yeah. He's like, you look like a whole freak.
What the fuck? You guys want me to watch this, bro? I can't watch this. What the fuck is this? It gets worse.
Welcome.
Oh, at least the lighting's a little bit better here. Listen. At worst, it's like, first of all, even if this video fucking absolutely sucks, no matter what happens, I'm going to be a fucking white dude telling black content creators what and what not to do. I'm not even touching this with a 10 million foot pole. Are you fucking crazy? I don't even understand what's going on. Like they have a bunch of racist people behind like what is it? Like they have a bunch of racist people behind like a fucking panel. This is Kick IRL? Yeah. They're actors and one is not.
Okay, hold on. We need phone a friend.
Bro, I got two limbs.
Yeah, I got 2 and 4.
See a tattoo? Let me see that tattoo.
Which one?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Here's the state, right? A racist person would not say thank you to 6 black people.
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's a fact, bro. He definitely would say fuck y'all niggas. Yeah. Y'all bitch ass niggas.
All right, now we got 4 contestants left. It's time to remove the curtains.
What do you think?
What a ridiculous.
Know,
Oh, what the fuck? Hey, yo!
I ain't
Bro. Oh, wait. I'm telling you. Oh, okay.
This is hard now, I'm not gonna lie.
All right, come on, get ready to do it, bro.
Automatically, I know who not racist.
Yeah, get ready to do it.
Nigga, we're in essential.
Wait.
So wait, like one of them is just like a real racist, and he's just like, "Yeah, brother, I'm white and proud." Like, what the fuck? It's kind of wild. Mountain Dew sponsored this. Wait, they did? No shot.
Number 3. This nigga wearing essential, bro. He's wearing essential. I know that, but still, he got Air Max's essential.
And he's standing funny.
Bro, and he's saying NBA young boy, bro. Come on.
Hey, his best friend is black.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Number 3.
I don't listen to that.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us. We're packing up number 3.
Huh? Where you from? I'm from the Bronx too. You from the Bronx?
What part?
I'm from 168. That's why I'm down here.
What?
Cap. That's what you down here. Cause bro, like Dykeman, that's the hood, bro.
He said, bro, yo, you okay, bro? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here. That nigga's not racist.
Okay.
All right, so boom. This is round 4. Only 3 contestants left.
Black History Month or strip clubs? Shit.
Black History Month.
Oh, okay.
Which one I hate more, right?
Wait. Now, which one would you pick?
Which one would you like? Do you like
better?
Bro, what the fuck? Dude, this video is insane. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with this video. I'm trying to understand it. I don't understand it. Do they ultimately find like who the real racist is or something? What the fuck? So the other guys are just like being fake racist?
Dude, you can't tell me what words. Once you tell me I can't use one word, there's another word I can't
Okay, that guy's the real racist, 100%. That's it.
use. I got to stop it right there. I can't let you tell me what I can and can't say.
Call me a
and I feel that in my heart.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, easy. I mean, straight up. Case closed. Dude's like passionate about being able to say the N-word or how anti-white racism is fucking...
Whether you agree with it or not,
you know what I am.
if I gotta die over it, I'll die over it. Because I'm not letting that happen. Y'all act, it's bigger than a word.
It's bigger than black and white. No way a racist... Wait, what? I saw his odd one out, but with racism, why are you struggling with the concept so much? Because it's an insane concept to like fucking source an out and about racist, brother. No way a racist would be that outspoken in front of black men. Yes, they would. What are you talking about? No, that guy's acting, I can tell. He is acting. He's the Meryl Streep. He's the white Meryl Streep if he's acting, okay? Because this is something I've heard a million times over. He's doing really good.
It's freedom.
But it's
personal
black and white.
freedom.
It's a problem
it's
with the
bigger
whole
than
way
black
of
and
life.
white.
It can't change overnight.
It's telling people
But
what
they
they
got to
can
throw a
and
song
can't
where might as well join
That's
in.
I can't let nobody do that.
Like he's not dropping N-word with a hard R. He's doing the polite version of the racism. Oh, he did? He did say it's bigger than black and white. That's a Gideon fan. Never mind. He definitely is the racist.
Wait. So look, I'm gonna tell you right here, right now. You can't say nigga.
No, wait. Don't.
You can't say it.
I'm not gonna say it, but yes, I can. I'm capable of saying it.
You can't say it. If you can see that motherfucker,
you're not allowed to say
let that motherfucker go.
See that's my.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
That's what would you let anyone tell you what you can or can't?
Yes.
You would? I don't believe.
Listen, I can't say the F word.
Exactly.
I can't. Listen,
dude. I love that. I love that they're owning the fucking. They're owning the race by being like, no, there are plenty of words that we can't say, man. That's so funny. It's like, no, you can't say it. Say it with me.
F word. There's 1,000 F words.
There's 1,000 F words. Bitch, you know what F word they're talking about.
It's a maggot.
It's more than words. It's control.
It's respect.
Are y'all listening?
It's respect.
It's more than words. It's controlling what people can and cannot say.
Why you say it so bad, though?
You're not listening.
I'm trying to make this an issue of language. Like your freedom is not being restricted by you not saying a hard R. You act like it's a slippery slope. It's not.
Yes,
that word was used to demean people like us in history
and
from people like you. That's why you can't say
degrading
it.
words too.
Okay, well, don't use those words, nigga. That's not your word.
You didn't have to deal with the rap.
He on your ass right now, bro. Like,
it's not hard to not use a word though. That's simple.
But that's up to me to choose that. That's my choice.
That's true, but
dude, everyone is like, bro, this was a mistake. The actors were like, come on, man, we were just joking around. The fuck is this? Chat was like, no, this guy's an actor. I've never seen somebody act this well. Okay. Not even white? What do you mean he's not even white, bro? Look at him. What the fuck are you talking about? He's not even white. What? Please tell me he's Italian. Oh my God. Stop. Chat, stop.
It's not hard.
That's my choice. I'm not gonna let you. Sorry.
Do you want to make America great again?
There's a lot I want to do.
hey, bro, wait, hold on, wait. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, bro, I like the way like you're openly honest about things, and I think you should come on. All right.
I said what? No, dude. What the fuck, dude? This is so. No, it's not. No, it's not good. No, no. That's all I'm gonna say. No. Okay.
AMP podcast.
Nigga.
Huh? Just to speak your mind some more, bro.
I mean, I would like to go on podcasts, but if I could pick a topic.
What's the topic?
Federal Reserve.
Oh my God, he's a libertarian, baby. Yeah, gold standard Ron Paul. I gotta be able to say the N-word, libertarian. One of the chatters actually locked it. I don't know who it was, but immediately said this guy has the attitude of a man who will be defending maritime laws, okay? Like, sorry, is this the Admiralty Court? You cannot arrest me, sir. I am engaging in the freedom of movement. Yeah, he's got, actually, it's ephebophilia energy. That's like my favorite, that's my favorite argument, because it's like, no, listen, it's a different kind of pedophile. Still a pedophile, just a different kind of pedophile, okay? Like, what the fuck? What is this hyper-specific argument? You're like, actually, I don't think you understand. It's a different kind of pedophile, okay?
Rothschild, centralized banking.
That shit sound boring as shit.
See, okay. See, let's do it. Did you know may I have the floor? Did you know the first slaves in America were white? Have you ever heard of the Ottoman slave trade?
Oh, yo, he's coming after me. Hey, chill. Listen. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. This guy he's hitting all the high notes, dude. He hit the fucking Ottoman slave trade. Dude, white people are so crazy. You enslave them one fucking time, and then, oh my God, they never give up on it. Even if it's not chattel slavery, even if it's not chattel slavery, holy fuck, they have not stopped. It's like, bro, you're like Irish. What the fuck are you talking about? Just talk about the British, idiot. Like, why are you talking about fucking what happened to the Balkans? Jesus Christ, dude. The Irish were enslaved as well. That's what I'm saying. Like, I live with a Greek family, and they literally used to tell me that what the Greeks went through was the same as Black Americans. They were so conservative. Yeah, I know. It's. That's a clip. You enslave white people one time. I mean, I'm joking, but I can't wait for the fucking Nazis to get a hold of that and be like, oh my God, remember, dude, never forget the Never forget the Janissary program. Like, bro, you literally live in Iowa and your ancestral roots go back to Germany. Like, what are you talking about? You don't understand, brother. I got intergenerational. Matt Walsh literally did a video and you talking about the Ottoman slave trade. He did? Oh, that's awesome. I never watched it. When he brought up Ottoman, chill, man. You did the Ifiba file thing, but for slavery? No. You got it all wrong. It's a different kind of slavery. Brother, when we're talking about history and descriptive statements throughout history, there is a difference. No historian would agree with your sentiment. You understand that, right? Like, it's not me being Ottoman or anything like that. Yeah, it is different. Like, no, literally, like with major distinctions, as a matter of fact. For the record, indentured servitude and chattel slavery are very different, even. You know? You see what he said about the Jews? I mean, he hit the Rothschilds button super hard, too. Oh, here comes the wise were slaves too. Discourse, get me the hell out of here. I can't take it. I know, dude. It's awesome. It's like, it is the most unimaginably fucking annoying point of contention. And then people will be like, dude, you don't understand. Like, I have intergenerational trauma. Like, you're being, it's literally, it's basically German descendants who have nothing to say or do about it that cannot comprehend contemporary implications being virtually fucking non-existent, unless you're talking about like the Balkans or some shit. Okay? Same with, again, Irish indentured servants in the West. It's just like, it's a way for white people to be like, no, actually, like, we were also enslaved. Like, we were also victimized systematically. And there are still contemporary impacts of such victimization. It's also an unironically white supremacist argument, because, like, it ultimately comes down to this. We were enslaved as white people, but we overcame it. You were enslaved by white people as black people, but you couldn't. Okay? That's basically the final note on that, which ultimately arrives at the point of, like, shut the fuck up about slavery, because, like, we were enslaved as well, but we were able to overcome it. You couldn't, because there's some other issues involved in it. And it always ties back to race realism, biological essentialism. It always ties back to that. They can say culture all they want. It's literally a way to downplay the consequences of chattel slavery and the African slave trade in general. Okay? It is considered to be one of the only positions that historians have a normative declaration on, alongside Nazi Germany. There's like 2 instances throughout history that you can make normative declarations on. Slavery, chattel slavery specifically, is bad. Nazi Germany is bad. This is like a universal acknowledgement. Making comparisons to that, and turning around and like likening it to anything else is fucking silly and stupid. African slaves did exist in the Ottoman Empire, that was more in the Arab North African areas. Yes. And also, the comparison is laughable. Like, they had, in the Ottoman Empire, they had African slaves, but nowhere near the same as like chattel slavery. Nowhere near. There's a reason why there aren't a massive number of Afro-Turks. But yes, of course, most cultures, most imperial, most empires have engaged in some level of slavery. What the fuck? The Ottomans have black eunuch slaves. Slaves are the generals mutilated. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Originally, the Ottomans used black slaves in the harems because they would know if any of the concubines had sex with the harem masters. I don't know what the English word is. Then some of the concubines ended up having half-black children. They realized that it was not working in that way, so they were turned into eunuchs. Yeah, it was gruesome. It was disgusting. It was horrific. Absolutely. Are there Afro-Turks though? Yes, I believe there is a incredibly tiny group of Afro-Turks that live around the Aegean Sea in Izmir, I think, like in a surrounding region of Izmir, but like very, very small number. Or is it in Muğla? Oh, I thought it was around Izmir. Yeah. There was even a black eunuch who became the Sultan's most important official that managed the harem in the 17th century. Yeah, the major difference between, and this is not in any way, shape. Oh, Muğla also in Izmir. Bodrum. I was thinking Bodrum for some reason. The one major difference between slavery in different cultures, and I'm not like super familiar with slavery in different cultures, but I can make a comparison to the Ottoman Empire, and this is in no way, shape, or form a defense of slavery at all. It's not. Obviously, insane and inhumane. But the major difference in the Ottoman Empire's like Janissary program was that oftentimes the outside of like what we just talked about with respect to eunuchs, they were hyper educated and elevated to the highest rungs of society. Like it was mostly like, this is unimaginable in any other program, in any other way. Yeah, it was it's like hard to comprehend from Western standards. And yes, the best way to describe it is that it's not that Ottoman slavery was good, but chattel slavery was by far the fucking worst. Yeah. And this isn't like some indentured servants were able to get liberty later down the line, so it's not as bad or anything like that. I'm saying like the express purpose of, you're a Clippers dream streamer. No, this is not whitewashing. It's so frustrating to have this conversation because people will immediately go, oh no, you're whitewashing the legacy of like a horrific practice. Not, because I'm not describing something as an objective good. I don't think it's good. But there is no other. I don't know, but Ottomans used to chop heads off if you didn't convert to Islam. This is a laughable sentiment, and you know nothing about the history of the Ottoman Empire or anything beyond just Western understandings of history, I think. Notoriously fucking wrong. Like the exact opposite, as a matter of fact. No, there was jizya, a tax, for non-Muslims. But the notion that there was like actual fucking head chopping going on outside of war is not correct. Why are you defending it so hard, though? It's what I defend every single fucking time when any kind of conversation comes up where people's false understandings of certain concepts end up playing a fucking role in what they're saying. I'm not defending the Ottoman Empire. I'm defending what actually happened throughout history. This is not a difference in opinion. This is not a personal bias. It's what is the truth. You're trying to describe something to me, or you're trying to you're trying to tell something that is false otherwise. And it's just not true. And now you're being purposely obtuse to make it seem like I'm defending something. Didn't slaves in the Ottoman Empire often rise to be rulers in the ruling class of society, but were still slaves? Yes. Describing different degrees of bad is always going to bring out the bad faith Andes? Yes. I mean, what the fuck are you supposed to do when people are constantly saying what America did and what the Ottomans did is a distinction without a difference? I know. It's very frustrating. How is it slavery if they were paid? Brother, what do you mean? You can still, like, what? No, you can, yeah, you can still be enslaved. It's like in prison, under coercive conditions, you still engage, you are forced to engage in acts of labor. You get paid a fucking cent, but it doesn't matter. It's still technically slavery. Labor under coercive conditions would technically still be slavery. It's a different degree of slavery, but it's still slavery. You know? The American carceral structure relies on this distinction. But yeah, the Devshirme system is child levy enslavement by which Christian Albanians, Bulgarians, Croats, Greeks, Romanians, and Serbs were taken, levied, subjected to forced circumcision and conversion to Islam, and incorporated into the Ottoman army. It was like the OG child. It was the OG child warlord brigade, I guess, if you want to consider it that. The Janissaries were also considered to be the most elite squadron, as they, you know, there it is, as they were the most elite squadron of warriors. That sounds like Roman slavery. No, it is literally. Yes, it is. It is very, very similar in many respects, but it's the Ottomans doing it, and they're Muslim, so obviously you're not going to get a lot of you're not going to get a lot of like similar mythologizing, because in the Western world, white people can associate with the Roman Empire as like this incredible force of good, despite doing, you know, unimaginable acts of cruelty, just like every other empire has. But you will never fucking you will never see it in the same way, because, you know, this is a Muslim empire, so obviously they're bad. They became famed for internal cohesion cemented by strict discipline and order. Unlike typical slaves, they were paid regular salaries, forbidden to marry before the age of 40 or engage in trade. Their complete loyalty to the Sultan was expected. Also, another fun fact from a labor historian perspective, Janissaries were one of the first formations of united labor action and collective bargaining in a process where they would, this was called Kazan Kaldırma, they would eat out of these gigantic fucking cauldrons. this massive military force that is tasked with protecting the empire, the protecting the emperor. Okay, they would eat out of these massive cauldrons. So at times of austerity, when there wasn't enough wealth in the coffers to pay them the regular wages that they were due, they would get together and basically do something similar to a strike, where they would take those massive cauldrons and flip them. That's what kazan kaldırmak means in Turkish. By the 17th century, due to the dramatic increase in the size of the Ottoman standing army, the Corps' initially strict recruitment policy was relaxed. Civilians bought their way into it in order to benefit from the improved socioeconomic status conferred upon them. So while it was the children when they were going into war, and there were orphan children or whatever, or even people that they would steal sometimes, that they brought into the Janissary program. People would literally bribe their way into the Janissary program, specifically because of the upward social mobility that they got from being a part of the Janissary program. People would basically bribe so that their children could get into it in order to benefit from the improved socioeconomic status. Consequently, the corps gradually lost its military character, undergoing a process that has been described as civilianization. The Janissaries were a formidable military unit in the early centuries, but as Western Europe modernized its military organization and technology, the Janissaries became a reactionary force that resisted all change. Steadily, the Ottoman military power became outdated, but when the Janissaries felt their privileges were being threatened, or outsiders wanted to modernize them, or they might be superseded by their cavalry rivals, they rose in rebellion. By the time the Janissaries were suppressed, it was too late for the Ottoman military power to catch up to the West. The corps was abolished by Sultan Mahmud in the auspicious incident, which where 6,000 or more were executed. Even Dracula's little brother, after they became wars of the Ottoman Empire, was like, this place rocks. I'm learning so much. And Dracula was old enough to be bitter and hated it. Yeah. Well, we know what happened to fucking Dracula Tepesh, so. Also, chattel slavery wasn't just horrific because we didn't get paid. It was also because of the dehumanization, the forced westernization, the fact that we were stripped of our heritage. Women were raped regularly in the breeding farms that popped up after the transatlantic slave trade was abolished, so and so forth. We'll say that the Christian English feared but also admired the Ottomans like empire envy, so they even mentioned the Janissaries in their plays and whatnot. Early Orientalism, yes. From the 1380s to the 1648, the Janissaries were gathered through the Devshirme system, which was abolished in 1648. This was the taking, enslaving of non-Muslim boys, notably Anatolian and Balkan Christians. This is why a lot of Christians will talk about like the Christian slave trade, the anti-white, anti-Christian slavery that happened in the hands of the Ottoman Empire. Jews were never subjected to devshirme, nor were children from Turkic families. There is, however, evidence that when Jews tried to enroll in the system, Jews were not allowed in the Janissary army, and so, in suspected cases, the entire batch would be sent to the imperial arsenal as indentured laborers. Ottoman documents from the levy of the winter of 1603 to 1604 from Bosnia and Albania wrote to draw attention to some children as possibly being Jewish. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, in the early days, all Christians were enrolled indiscriminately. Later, those from what is now Albania, Bosnia, and Bulgaria were preferred. Yeah. Oh, for those of you who also don't know, the treatment of Jewish people across the board within the Ottoman Empire is also very unique in terms of how Jewish people were being treated everywhere else at the exact same time frame. This is not revisionist history either. This is also factually accurate. The Ottoman Empire was seen as such a was seen in comparison to other places as such a free society for Jewish people to live in that Theodor Herzl originally went to the Ottoman Empire at the time to try and buy Palestine, basically, essentially to create the nation state of Israel. He was, of course, told that was not going to happen. The Ottoman Empire also, everyone hated Jews at the time, but they hated them way less than most other European. Not only did they hate them way less, but the Ottoman Empire literally opened its doors to Jews that were escaping pogroms, specifically from Spain, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Spain, right? In comparison, is doing some Olympic level heavy lifting there. Yeah, I mean, if you are seen as a safe harbor for Jews that are fucking escaping pogroms, yeah, I would say that yes, dude. Would you not consider that to be fucking, you know, good and better in comparison? What the fuck do you mean? Yeah. Like, really? You're gonna sit here and be like, wow, this is fucking real bullshit here that you would mention that. Yes. Then why say in comparison? Why not say it was a bastion? Because it's a different time, and ultimately, obviously, in comparison to like today's conditions, it was still worse overall. So, you know, I'm not like the foremost historian on. Wait, what? Your misunderstanding is not my fault, you fucking dingus. That's insane that you got mad at me for literally grabbing on, latching on, acting like you know better, getting fucking owned in the marketplace of ideas, and then subsequently doubling down by making it my fault. That's an insane problem on your end, not me. What the fuck? This says a lot about you that I was forced to have the most cynical interpretation of everything you're saying. Take a breath and reconsider the way you're, you know, analyzing the things I'm saying. No, you didn't just take in comparison to be in comparison with societies of the time, because in comparison to other societies of the time, my statement is correct. You didn't just take that. In comparison is doing some Olympic heavy lifting here implies that you had a more cynical interpretation of what I was saying. You thought I was actually trying to make the situation out to be better than it actually is, because in your mind, you thought Ottoman Empire must be fucking also doing pogroms on the Jews, clearly, because you're a cynical shit. That's fine, okay? But just like reconsider how you interpret information, okay? And don't try to fucking hide behind semantics purgatory in the way that you're doing. You're doubling, tripling, quadrupling down right now, specifically because you feel embarrassed. Stop. It was your fault. It is your own moral compass and your own lack of information on this issue that led you to think in the most cynical way possible. Okay? Stop it. It's okay to admit that you are wrong. It's okay to admit that you're wrong. Stop. You're doing it. You're still doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're still doing it. You're still saying in comparison to what? Yes, in comparison to pogroms, the Ottoman Empire and its treatment of Jewish people was better. Significantly better. And then I was specific, and you're still doing... Okay, fuck you. Suck my cock, you fucking idiot. God damn it. God, I fucking despise you. You fucking worm. You little fucking wormy shithead. Holy fuck. Still going. Still going. Compare my cock inside of you, okay? You dense weasel. Can't stand it. He just can't fucking be like, okay, I was wrong. Now I learned something. +1 permanent hate watcher. I mean, fuck this guy, dude. Holy shit. What are we debating here? That he misunderstood what I was saying and he's like still going off and on and on? This is one of the worst parts about anonymity. In a normal circumstance, literally, if we were sitting in a fucking auditorium or a stadium where there's 27,000 people and that fucking dickhead got the microphone, it says some dumbass shit and I sent him his way, he would be laughed out of that room. But here, under the guise of anonymity, he thinks he can fucking put on his like Death Note ass music on and do this like anime villain sequence in his mind when he's just being a fucking idiot and then consistently doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on his idiocy. That's the issue. Anyway, the Janissaries were a couple kulita, door servants, or slaves of the port, neither freemen nor ordinary slaves. They were subjected to strict discipline, but were paid salaries and pensions upon retirement and formed their own distinctive social class. As such, they became one of the ruling class of the Ottoman Empire, rivaling the Turkish aristocracy. The brightest of the Janissaries were sent to the palace institution. Through a system of meritocracy, the Janissaries held enormous power, stopping all efforts to reform the military. Okay? Mimar Sinan is an architect, one of the most famous architects in Ottoman Empire history, one of the most famous architects of all time. There are schools dedicated to his name. Mimar Sinan was a part of the Devshirme program. Here. And he is not unique in this component, is what I mean. He's the civil engineer for Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, Selim II, and Murad III. He was responsible for the construction of more than 300 major structures such as Selimiye Mosque in Edirne, Kanuni Sultan Süleyman Bridge in Büyükçekmece, Mehmet Pasha Sokolovich Bridge in Visegrad, and other more modest projects such as madrasas, külliyes, bridges, etc. His apprentices would later design the Sultan Ahmet Mosque in Istanbul and the Stari Mosque in Mostar. Son of a stonemason, he received a technical education and became a military engineer. He rose rapidly through the ranks to become the first an officer and finally a Janissary commander with the honorific title of Sinan. He refined his architectural and engineering skills while on campaign with the Janissaries, becoming an expert at constructing fortifications of all kind, as well as military infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and aqueducts. At about the age of 50, he was appointed as the chief royal architect, applying the technical skills he had acquired in the army to the creation of fine religious buildings. So he's a janitor, big whoop. What? A janitor? I'm describing to you like, you know, God, I hate having a conversation about like any kind of Eastern, Middle Eastern, any kind of like Eastern history with a profoundly uncivilized group of barbarian Angloids who just have this like unearned sense of this unearned sense of entitlement from their uncivilized ancestors. Didn't even know how to fucking wipe their asses and died by the millions, who have just like dominated the planet, is just so nasty. It's just it's so stupid. It's like orientalizing. It's frustrating. Unearned sense of knowing history. You mean unearned sense of knowing history? What the fuck do you mean knowing what history? If you knew history, you wouldn't be fucking talking out of your ass when we're having a conversation about this. Not you, Goofy, the barbarians. Oh, you're saying that it's unearned in the sense that like they think they know history, but they don't. The chatter meant that Western culture, specifically America, is so full of itself that it assumes it knows history when it doesn't. Yeah. I go through your exact emotional crisis every time I'm forced to speak to a white person about Chinese history. Yeah. It's like, I think one of the funnier aspects of Ottoman Empire shit is that like it's basically like a lost sense of disdain towards the Ottomans that Europe still sometimes holds on to. You know what I mean? That's why it's always funny when like European people hold it up. Not ranking slavery here. Crimes against humanity be crimes against humanity. Slavery in the Muslim world was never tied to imaginary superiority, inferiority over so-called race. Muslim leaders were more concerned about what you believe rather than what you look like. Jews and Christians and other Muslims were okay if they pay more taxes, jizya. Other beliefs, not so much. Anyway. I think his, if I'm not mistaken, I think his dad, didn't his dad like put him into the Janissary program? Sinan had either Armenian or Greek origin. One argument lends credence to his Armenian or Greek background as a decree by Selim II. Oops. Which grants Sinan's request to forgive and spare his relatives from the general exile of Kayseri's Orthodox communities to the island of Cyprus. This decree was published in the Turkish journal, Türk Tarih Encümeni Mecmuası. Godfrey Goodwin stated that after the Ottoman conquest of Cyprus, when Selim II decided to repopulate the island by transferring Rum families, the Karaman Eyalet, Sinan intervened, the Karaman state. Sinan intervened on behalf of his family and obtained 2 orders from the Sultan and Council and exempting them from deportation. A few scholars hold that Sinan had possible Albanian or Jewish origin. A local tradition in the village of Shiroka Laka holds that Sinan was of Bulgarian origin and his family came from that village. Turkish scholars believe that Sinan's family was Christian Turkish. Sinan grew up helping his father in his work, and by the time he was conscripted, he would have had good grounding in the practicalities of building work. There are 3 brief records in the library of Topkapı Palace, dictated by Sinan to his friend and biographer Mustafa Said Çelebi. In these manuscripts, Sinan divulges some details of his youth and military career. His father is referred to as Abdülmennan, literally servant of the generous and merciful one, a title which was commonly used in the Ottoman period to define the non-Muslim father of a Muslim convert. He was conscripted into Ottoman service under the Devshirme system. He was sent to Constantinople to be trained as an officer of the Janissary Corps and converted to Islam. He was too old to be admitted to the Imperial Enderun School in Topkapı Palace. But yeah, one other component of the Devshirme process was that it was like, I mean, obviously it was distorted, and there's no such thing as like true meritocracy, but it did have a meritocratic approach. I was with you on the ride in awe of a eunuch becoming an architect legend. No. This guy's not a eunuch. No, the Janissaries were not eunuchs. They were even allowed to have wives after the age of 40. No, the eunuchs only were one specific group of people that worked inside of the harems. Everybody misunderstood me. They would take, in the Ottoman Empire, the Devshirme process was one where they would take either orphan children of like Albanians and the like, Bulgarians, orphan children that were non-Muslim from their conquests, and they would bring them into the Devshirme program where they would be converted to Islam, and then they would be a part of this like super disciplined elite military brigade. Now, knowing a little bit more about, literally no one but that chatter misunderstood you, goddamn. Now, like I said, knowing what you know about this process, including like individuals that were paying their way, bribing their way into trying to send their children into the process, not that it was a good one, regardless, you making a comparison between this and chattel slavery is just at best simply a mischaracterization, and at worst, nefarious, cynical, and undermining the true, horrific, and devastating impacts of chattel slavery. Also agreed. I run into the Irish were slaves, 2 guys all the time on site. Exactly. That one is a great story as well in comparison to the indentured servitude, where you could technically still work to gain your freedom eventually. No such opportunity existed for chattel slavery. Their children were also considered slaves, and they were, most importantly, depersonalized. They were not considered human. They were considered a separate category. That's why the N-word, which was a justification for that dehumanization, is different than any other kind of slur you could utilize in the English language. Okay? It's not good. It's not just. It's not moral. But when you try to make that comparison, which, by the way, Irish people would not make that comparison unless they're like some fucking dickhead living in America for 200 fucking years ass like dude from Boston, okay? Because Irish people, due to their their colonial subjugation, have an attitude that oftentimes defends people who are also seeking emancipation. But there's a reason why. Historians consider chattel slavery to be, like actual historians, not fucking dumbass Matt Walsh, would consider chattel slavery to be uniquely evil. This does not mean other forms of slavery were morally righteous, just, good. Clearly, that's not the case.
You know me, Chad. I got that drip. I'm dripped.
Streamers by Balenciaga. Dude, I saw the Harry Potter Balenciaga thing. It was awesome.
You know me, Chad. I got that drip. I'm dripped out of the wazoo. I got that Balenciaga. 1,000 stones, dude. No joke.
Is this just XQC?
Dr. Pepper, what is that? Balenciaga is the way, you know it, I know it, everyone knows it.
That's awesome. Wait, who's this?
Ain't no way anything is better than Balenciaga.
Like the first one was Kai.
You cannot escape Balenciaga, just like you cannot escape capitalism.
What the fuck? Why am I wearing the lamest fits, bro? That's bullshit. What the fuck? Why is
Balenciaga is simply statuesque.
The one that was awesome was the Balenciaga Harry Potter one. That shit was awesome. The Harry Potter Balenciaga one is insane, dude. It's probably the best shit post I've ever seen. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it came up immediately. Dude, look at this. Look. That one is like a cut above anything else, okay?
You are Balenciaga, Harry.
What is the difference, Potter, between H&M and Balenciaga?
Dude, look at the Harry Potter! Dude, I love these two are the best because like that's real. Okay? That is like, if people, they do use models that pretty much look like this, okay? They literally do. They do this already.
After all, to the well-organized mind, Balenciaga is but the next great adventure.
You'll soon find out that some fashion is better than other, Potter.
There is no good and evil. There is only Balenciaga, and those too weak to seek it.
Avada Balenciaga.
Oh, I love that. Metal Gear Solid?
The military facility at Shadow Moses has become a front for crimes against fashion. Snake, stop Metal Gear for Balenciaga.
I will not stop until I save the world. And Balenciaga.
I will give up the nuclear codes for a discount at Balenciaga.
Snake, you are and will always be my icon.
Do you think fashion can bloom on the battlefield?
Okay, hero. Buy me things.
Snake, when this is all over, we will move the Balenciaga HQ to Alaska and eat caribou.
I always wanted a brother who wears Balenciaga.
Dude, that's so good.
Jesse, we need to produce more Balenciaga.
I like, if this is like somehow an AstroTurf campaign like that they came up with, holy fuck is it brilliant. Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, it's so good. And it's such a great meme format. It's such a great fucking meme format. It's like just the right amount of fucking disturbing. It's crazy. It's captivating. It's disturbing. It captures the essence of a brand, like of a fashion house, so perfectly. This is gross AI PR. Fuck that noise. I mean, it's great. And it's always like just subtle nod.
Clearly his taste in women is the same as his taste in fashion. Only the very best, with just a right amount of dirty.
I'm not buying Balenciaga, Skylar. I am Balenciaga. A guy goes into the boutique and buys Balenciaga, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who sells.
Shut the fuck up and let me wear it in peace.
Hold on, I'm gonna click on
Winter fashion.
Fuck AI. What the fuck is this chat saying? They're literally defending capitalism. AI is not capitalism. AI is a technological achievement that will inevitably be used by capitalists. It's already being used by capitalists to squeeze out more profits from the labor force as they simultaneously cut different aspects of labor, making a smaller group of workers do the work that was normally relegated to a larger group of workers. AI in itself is just technological achievements. I know people say Luddite ass takes, but isn't that literally the original fucking aspect of the reason why Luddites were anti-tech? Isn't that how that works? Because they were worried about the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour. And they were sick. They were terrified that like if technology improves dramatically, then there will be a top of the hour ad break. And then there will be no methods to avoid said top of the hour, except there are methods to avoid the top of the hour, like a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky, use a 3-minute ad break now. Exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah. AI art is automated intellectual and creative theft on a mass scale. Yes. Just like what I said originally about AI art, It can be utilized by humans, artists even. It can be a tool, or it can just be a new version of Fiverr that doesn't even incorporate, the hyper exploited laborer in the global South.
Yeah, Balenciaga, bitch.
A lot of people say Luddite as if technology isn't obliterating the planet. Tech isn't inherently positive. Dude, I'm not an anarcho-primitivist. I think tech is inherently positive. It's what you do with the tech. Of course, I get an ad even as a subscriber on screen. Lol. I don't know why subscribers have been reporting that they're getting ads.
Week is coming.
My obsession with fashion killed Rhaenyra's mother.
Everyone who isn't Balenciaga is an enemy.
He's really disappointed to see this milquetoast take on AI when it has been making life increasingly harder for most artists who create all the entertainment you enjoy. There is no aspect of art that isn't derivative. All art is inherently derivative. It rides on the laurels of art that came before it. AI is frustrating to artists because it's not created by someone who has toiled individually to learn the techniques, the basics. It simply takes and spits it out. That's the major problem with AI art. In my opinion, ultimately, no matter how much information you feed a machine, there is a component within humanity that always transforms a work of art into something different, something that makes you feel things. Okay? Humanity, especially as it pertains to art, will improve, adapt, overcome, and make different kinds of art. You are not angry at AI. You are angry at capitalism. You are not angry at technological improvements. You are angry at how those technological improvements are weaponized, not even utilized, in certain instances, weaponized. Frustrating because half the chatters don't even understand what they're saying. They're just parroting half of Adam Ruins Everything video they watch, but without finishing Subway Surfers. Matrix by Gucci.
Don't think you are Balenciaga. Know you are Gucci.
This is so dumb.
Why do my eyes hurt? You never use them with the Gucci glasses.
It's so stupid.
You hear
I
that,
love
Mr.
it.
Anderson? Gucci is the sound of inevitability.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill
The story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe to Gucci. You take the red pill, you stay with Balenciaga, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
No, John Wick isn't Balenciaga. He's the guy you send to create Balenciaga show.
This one sucks. Some of these are so trash. This one's not good.
I've been hearing rumors, Jonathan. They say you're back for Balenciaga show. They say you're thinking of returning to the fold.
This one's trash.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back for Balenciaga show.
The Bowery King is dead. Long live.
That one, this one's trash.
Presented Dobby with Balenciaga. Dobby is free.
That one's so good. Okay, this one's the best one, dude. The Harry Potter one's the best one.
There's some who'll hold it against Balenciaga, but they're not worth bothering with.
Okay, this one is the best made one. It's so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hagrid's busted? What do you mean? Hagrid's busting in your mom and she's liking it, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Busted what? Look at him. You're a model, Harry, for Balenciaga.
It's Balenciaga, not Balenciaga.
What's life without a little Balenciaga?
Balenciaga is my past, my present, my future.
Hassan wishes he was Balenciaga Hagrid. Yes, that's true. I do. Okay, we'll look at the office in a second. That was so stupid.
Balenciaga. After all this time, always.
Wingardium Balenciaga.
It's so dumb, but so good.
What
okay,
she
what?
said. And she was talking about my Balenciaga shoes.
Dude, Michael Scott fucks, dude. Look at him. Also, this is a really random, like, actually take, but this is way more Balmain than Balenciaga, okay? Get your fucking game up, whoever made this. I see a lot of that, and this distinction needs to be made here, okay?
I declare my love for Balenciaga.
What the fuck?
Bears, beats, and now Balenciaga.
My lord, there's one for YouTubers and Twitchers. Dude, I don't know what it is about this, but there's something that I really love about the filter. I don't know what it is. Is like it is very like Patrick Bateman, like from that era of movie making. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's awesome. It's like early 90s movie filter. And I don't know if it's like the nostalgia that gets me, but the Lud one is good. Oh,
boys, the plan is.
Wait, oh,
they aren't clips. They are magazines. That doesn't matter anymore. Only Balenciaga matters now.
I mean, the YouTubers one's like not that good. It's just like, I mean, it's good because we know the people in it, but
not only do I slap the bass, I also slap Balenciaga.
looks like some of the last film cameras, maybe they switched to digital. Would have put all of these on his Tumblr. Hasan,
I'm an international fashion superstar. Trust me when I say this. No one wears Balenciaga better than I do.
It's not committing hard enough? Yeah, I agree. It is explicitly a 90s-esque design.
Show you how to make these viral Balenciaga AI animation videos. Many creators charge for the prompts, but I'll share everything for free. All I ask is for you to like them. I'm going to link everything down in the description. I'm going to use the Harry Potter by Balenciaga video as an example in the use.
This motherfucker made this with AI too. Oh my god, this shit's
go
so
to
cringe.
ChatGPT, open a new chat, and type, "Give me the 10 most popular Harry Potter characters." Just the names of these 10 characters in a unique Balenciaga piece for a runway show. Just write the name of the character and the piece. 100.
Yeah, I think the shit that really stands out for me about this specific, like, not ad campaign, but like this specific viral phenomena is the 90s era fashion show aesthetic that I find incredibly compelling. I don't know what it is. He said, remember. Yeah. But it's such a pretty aesthetically pleasing visual. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's really cool. It's the film look with the buccal fat removal faces. Yeah, I mean that.
190 fashion show. When it has finished matching the clothes with the characters, we need to give it an example of our model.
This is gonna make me throw up.
To resemble the characters.
I don't want to see the way that this fucking. I don't want to see how the sausage is made because it's disgusting. Okay, I'm gonna start caving to all the fucking AI art sucks guys in the chat. It's just so dorky. It's so awful. Just show me the work. That's fine. A lot of it sucks anyway. But when I see like how the magic is made, how the sausage is made, the magic is gone. Okay, immediately I'm like grossed out by it. It's just so no. Just give me the fucking visual stimuli and I'm fine. I don't want to fucking see how it's done. And ruin everything because it's like so formulaic. So much so that people sell prompts for this. Like, what the fuck? Because there is no magic. True. That is true. See the way sausage is made? It's no longer good sausage. Yeah. It's called the Ken Burns zoom effect in framing. Bitch, are you telling me about the Ken Burns zoom effect? I grew up on fucking Final Cut 7, dog. I know. Yeah, I know how to edit. Trash at it, but it's cute that you were a baby in the 90s. Now wait until the prompt writing AI comes out. I didn't know that, though. What makes magic real is the mystery. I'm a teacher and students have been recording teachers at my school to get their voice and then using it to create false messages to tell their parents they turned in missing assignments or they were present when ditching. I can't be mad at them, lol. I just wish they put in the effort in their schoolwork, haha. Here, let's finish this one. It's not that good, though.
Are you kidding me? Look how good I look in Balenciaga. Let's go, boys.
Since wearing Balenciaga, I haven't even thought of playing Fortnite.
Boys, the plan is simple. Step 1, wear Balenciaga. Step 2, eat Balenciaga. Step 3, become Balenciaga.
Yes! Oh no, they did him dirty.
Are you serious right now, bro? Give me the Balenciaga. I'm telling y'all right now, give it to me.
That's European Ludwig? Yeah.
Hey guys, Dan here. Do you like my Balenciaga? I don't know what to say other than it's sick. Do you know what would be more sick though? More Balenciaga.
Join the no fun team. AI is inherently anti-worker. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, how many times have I talked about this, man? Come on, brother. No, it's not. All technological achievements are inherently anti-worker under capitalism. But all technological achievements are supposed to be for the worker. It's supposed to make your fucking workload, your burden easier. Okay? It's not the AI or technological advancements that are playing against you. It's who gets to control them and what they do with the technological advancements. It's like saying the fucking mobile phone sucks because now you're in a 24/7 work cycle, okay? It's true. With an email, you are literally under a 24/7 workload now, okay? It's if the government doesn't set up any protections, and it's if you do not have any sort of fucking workplace safety, then where it becomes a major issue. Okay? A construction vehicle is inherently anti-worker. You could hire 10 workers to dig a hole or a single machine to dig it faster. Exactly. Every aspect of technological developments that you now take for granted that has made your life truly much, 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 much better. Okay? Every part of your life that you experience, everything that you take for granted, all of these amenities were done because humanity prospered, humanity thrived, and there was more technological development, okay? And every step of the way, those technological advancements took out some workers from the labor force who were forced to basically find something different to do. Oh my God, I hate this sort of capitalistic approach to fashion. There is no aspect of fashion that is not capitalistic, especially under capitalism. But what do you mean? Like, wait till you guys find out that, like, most artists are, you know, they all either were children of nobles or worked at the behest of nobles in order to eke out a living that you take for granted nowadays, that you look back at fondly. In most circumstances, art and artistic expression, which fashion falls under, absolutely is the fancy of people with a lot of spare time for the most part, and also all of the advancements, or I guess rather moral degeneracy, that was what the consideration was at the time, were done by people that had some spare time to do so, or was, you know, backed by those who backed by the aristocracy. Techno-utopias. In the future, we will outsource all the dull, mindless work to machines so humanity can focus on creativity in the arts. Silicon Valley, we've outsourced creativity in the arts to machines so you won't be distracted at your dull, mindless work. Yeah. I just directed ChatGPT to do your introduction. I just stole your art, commie. Last night I played some bomb-ass Mexican food from our favorite spot down the street. I went for a carne asada burrito with some extra guac, and it was a total game changer. If you've ever been in the area, you got to check it out. Speaking of games, I recently got my hands on the Steam Deck, and let me tell you, it's been a game changer as well. I've been playing all kinds of stuff on it, from the classic like Half-Life to newer titles like Death Stranding. It's such a cool device, and I can't wait to see what else I can do with it. Now let's talk anime. I've been rewatching One Piece lately, and I just finished the Skypiea arc. The arc follows the Straw Hat crew as they journey to the sky island of Skypiea, where they encounter a variety of challenges, including a corrupt god and his priestly followers. Overall, I thought it was a really fun and exciting arc with some great character moments. What the fuck? Do we not acknowledge that AI in its current state is bad for workers, and it's not crazy to say that it won't get better? I mean, I do acknowledge that, but also I'm not gonna be anti-AI, like, just, you know, or anti-tech in general. I mean, someone already made this argument, but it's like thinking that the invention of photography ruined the artistic expression. The invention of photography made it so much harder for painters to get steady work, and it's like, yeah, it did. It's not the same. Dev hates AI art. You should bring her on. I understand why artists hate AI art. Like, I get it. Photographers isn't trained on stealing artwork from other people. Hatsune Miku stole the work of vocalist Address. You only have this milquetoast take about AI because you don't work as an average worker, so you don't feel threatened by it. Bitch, you know who's not threatened by AI? Construction workers. The fuck do you mean? Are you so worried that your fucking white-collar job is going to be eradicated, which is a bullshit job to begin with, where you work 1 hour out of the day and you make it seem like you're doing make work for the rest of the fucking 5-hour, 9-hour work period? Okay, well, if you're a blue-collar worker, then don't worry. AI can't replace your fucking labor, okay? Like, what kind of milquetoast take about AI shit is this? Don't worry, ChatGPT can't fucking, pick up... ChatGPT, as it stands currently, doesn't know how to do plumbing, okay? It's giving centrism? Yeah, okay. Why are you mad, bro? I'm a machinist. I make plane parts. My profession is as automated as it can get, and I get by. Artists are the same as the majority regular workers. Yeah, like the thing is, literally, the entire purpose of a more equitable living, the entire purpose of a better organization of the economy is so that you can fucking, engage in things that you want to do, like art, okay? That's what's supposed to happen. That is what it is. That's what's supposed to fucking happen. So as it stands, learn to utilize this tool in your arsenal because it's the best it's going to get for you. For your bosses, force you to start working with AI as they cut half of the fucking workplace. AI's taking over all construction work. Yeah, also, ironically, my job is more threatened by AI than fucking blue-collar worker jobs. Exactly. VTuber AI could literally end my career. But the reason why I don't care is because I know that I will be able to adapt and overcome. It's also partially because, again, I have the tools and the power to be able to make these sorts of changes, whereas you, unfortunately, do not in the same vein. Because, your bosses make these decisions for you. As it stands, though, a lot of the fucking AI art is absolute fucking trash, doo-doo, dog shit. It will eventually get better, but currently, it's fucking awful. It's like Corridor Digital shit. You know what I mean? We approve artists being screwed over and not recognized because AI took their credit for themselves. It literally makes the entire art industry obsolete if AI can come up with shit on demand. I think that there will always be use and utility in human created art. Okay? Art in and of itself being like a viable industry. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Because you're not going to like what I will say, okay? NFTs are dog shit. A lot of like hyper capitalist art is absolute fucking doo-doo butter. It's absolute trash. AI art, on the other hand, when utilized as a tool by actual artists, could lead to different ways of even commoditizing your art. Okay? But art in and of itself has, at the very least historically, never really been a tool to make money. Okay? That's why I said it's been funded by the wealthy or done by the wealthy that have a profound amount of fucking time to be able to engage in these sorts of things. Art should never require monetization. I think capitalism is a corrosive influence on art in and of itself. So when you come to me and you say, as an artist, AI art is killing my job and it's replacing me, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what kind of art you make. I don't know how you're doing it, but art should not be destroyed by AI, especially with the way that AI currently works. You adapt and overcome only at the behest of the viewership. As soon as you devalue human product, there's no point in watching the HasanAbi stream because it has no inherent value to a viewer. You do not adapt. You do not overcome. Because you offer nothing at that point. Yeah, I don't think art will die because of AI. I think that one aspect of commodifying your art will most likely, I don't know what the fuck that person was saying, but one aspect of your art will probably be harder to make money. An entire argument against AI stealing from artists would not exist in an anti-capitalist world. Under capitalism, art is a hobby and not a career is useless. Art for the pursuit of money and not as creative endeavor as a capitalist concept. And if automation can allow more people to pursue creativity, then that's what we should strive for, but it doesn't. It currently does not, and it will not. That's the unfortunate reality, is that like art should be something that you're doing. Oh, fuck. Todic, yeah, dude, Todic. Boxes in the other room, too. Yeah, it might be. Yeah. Bro, Photoshop filters, algorithms, or AI, and nobody's crying about the Gaussian blur replacing artists. You learn to use it and make cool shit with it. Yeah, exactly. Ego Raptor says, look, you can just say it's important to me that a human person made this thing. All this hogwash about how AI art is ugly. You care about people and that people make art. It's important to you. You just never had to face it because it's always been given until now. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between a human-made artwork and an AI artwork very soon. If it hasn't happened already, you have to face that it is about your values, not about the quality. A tech bro is going to end up making something that you quite like. And in realizing it was made by a machine, you will be put off. You weren't duped. You care about what human made it and how, and you automatically assume that that was the case because it always has been. The concept of art has always had a humanity associated with it. It is inherently human. So it is not a failing to be put off when something is revealed to have very little humanity behind it. Likewise, it is not a failing to not care either. If we view computer-generated images, we are still receiving it with our human eyes. We will feel something. And if that alone is important to you, that is okay. And you are not bad because you can't tell the difference. This is a loud subject amongst artists because AI art is making us face things as artists that are uncomfortable. It is putting the megaphone on the quiet conundrums that have always been difficult feelings to process. And a lot of them are about commercialization. Yeah, exactly. It's the commercialization of art that is the issue. It's not necessarily... It's the commercialization of art that's the major component here. There's a major problem here. Okay? Under capitalism, AI won't be used to further creativity in tandem with humans. It will be used to make one person do the job of 10 people. I agree. I've said this time and time again. You can downplay the quality or humanity of AI. You can't find one? Yeah. It's, you know, look in all the boxes. There's a fuckload of boxes everywhere. They have cables in all of them. I'm sure there's got to be more. You can downplay the quality of humanity of AI art forever, but for some, the real problems here are the fear that people will lose their jobs to a machine that is mimicking their personal work or have their non-commercial work used to influence commercial work in a violating way. These concerns about AI are very human and are valid. I feel it is very important to have these discussions because they will shape how we interact with this level of computer technology in the future and possibly make policies to mitigate potential human rights issues. The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction is an essay of cultural criticism which proposes and explains that mechanical reproduction devalues the aura, uniqueness of an object d'art. That in the age of mechanical reproduction and the absence of traditional and ritualistic value, the production of art would be inherently based upon the practice of politics. Written during the Nazi regime in Germany, Benjamin presents the theory of art that is useful for the formulation of revolutionary demands on the politics of art in a mass cultural society. What is this? Walter Benjamin presents the thematic basis for a theory of art by quoting the essay, The Conquest of Ubiquity, to establish that works of art created and developed in past eras are different from contemporary works of art, and that the understanding and treatment of art and artistic technique must progressively develop in order to understand a work of art in the context of modern time. I got people just got caught off guard and I don't know how to process it. Most people never thought automation would come after high-skilled work first and not manual labor. From 1 hour ago, an example of permutations in Mid-Journey. The new permutations feature in Mid-Journey works so well with additive prompting. Test out different camera angles, film types, clothing brands, models, locations, anything you want by putting in brackets. Then you can batch up to 40 prompts in one go. This is huge for my workflow and it will save so much time. By copy pasting and iterating, I can now batch test multiple variables at a time, one by one, currently only available to the Pro plan, and will eat away at those fast hours real quick. Yeah, it's just like, I think what a lot of people are frustrated by is like half the time it's motherfuckers who have no artistic integrity, no interest in like advancing art, no real skin in the game in that regard, basically coming in and sweeping this fucking industry in its entirety through technological achievements. And that's very frustrating for artists, especially when the entirety of the process in and of itself is built on stealing the work and strokes, every single fucking stroke of labor that was put into art before it was, you know, before it was printed out, I guess. So that is what's like really, really annoying for people. And I do get that. I understand that. But I also think that this is the byproduct of technological achievements, no matter what happens, which is why people need to figure out a way to start utilizing it to their advantage rather than let it fucking wash over them, because progress is unstoppable. It flows like a river. You know, you can put fucking rocks in front of it, but all it's going to create is eddies. Okay? So what you need to do is figure out a way to use it to your advantage. There's just no other, there's no way to get ahead of it. The entire argument is going to be completely different once these AIs can tell you what sources it used down to the 0.0001%. I want you in the stream to thrive. Just pointing out that AI, given enough time, will not only match anything a human can produce, but it can outperform a human. So human creation can only survive at the behest of charity of a viewership, viewing solely because it's human created and not merit. And I don't know where to go from here. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do. Maybe I'm just stupid, though, and think that, like, no, there will always be a way for me to utilize AI. Dude, if you fucking write this one more time, I'm going to stop. You're done. You're done. Take a day off. I'm sick and tired of you fucking writing in like baby voice the entire day, dude. Holy fucking shit. Look at this. Address the allegations regarding gaming. Stop. It's so fucking annoying, dude. I can't stand motherfuckers that write fucking baby voice. I am not as worried, even though, you know, what I do, literally what I do right now is at the precipice of changing so dramatically that it might not ever exist ever again by a human being. VTubers and like AI VTubers already exist. Okay? They could quite literally just recreate the stream. Okay? They could do that. Yeah, but you're grandfathered in, you're already famous. It doesn't mean anything. All the fame in the world doesn't fucking mean shit if you could just be like replaced ultimately. Right now it's just novelty though. I know. The point is, however, I am partially not as fearful as others because I see it as a tool. I see it as a tool.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, a fantastic afternoon.
Here's Ammon Hawk, who did a HasanAbi VTuber model that you can, like, change. I've already watched this video. Here, I'll show you. Like, you can change components of it, too, with, like, donations and shit. Hold on, I gotta...
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, a fantastic afternoon, a fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasaman Piker, and this is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live from dark California, Los Angeles, folks. We are live and alive, and I hope all the boys, all the girls, and all the NBs are having a fantastic one. Do I sound to you all? So, as you can see, I have lost all of my subscribers. I have no followers. I've lost everything. I needed your help. Get all 70000 of my survivor, Jack. My subscribers, I want them back. Please help me. It seems like the arms command is not working. He is working. There's also a command called dance. That's very good. Today I'm going to be talking about news and watching some YouTube videos. Amy Lark, I don't know anything about urology. My head is way too large. I'm so embarrassed, forgive me. You can shrink my head into redeems and make it look more realistic. I have the first person mode too. Oh God. What the hell is happening to my pants?
This is so cursed. Photography is a tool. AI is a replacement for the artist. I highly recommend reading the Benjamin. No, AI is only a replacement for the artist if artists don't figure out a way to fucking overcome and adapt and make their art better by utilizing AI. Currently, though, it's never actual artists that are fucking utilizing AI. It's like random stem cells who have never actually done art or care about art at all. That's the main difference. That's the main problem. AI art is like everything nowadays. There's shortcuts to create absolutely vapid bullshit. Doesn't matter how good or bad the shit that gets generated gets. It simply doesn't matter because there's no depth to it. It's not like the advent of Photoshop or photography. Those are tools to accomplish a vision. This is just another tech solution in search of a problem. Fuck AI art forever. Totally not true. Every not famous artist loves AI. Well, there's plenty of not famous artists in this chat that fucking hate it. So I don't know if I agree with that. Right now, people are using this will replace artists as a selling point to attract investors to their companies. Yeah. It's like you telling candle makers to just get good because of the light bulb. Not necessarily. I think that art is not something you can... Art is not something you can just like... I don't know. I don't know how to fucking describe it. Shouters are so wrong. Photography changed art forever. It used to be that only way to know what something looked like was to get a painting done of it, and the level of skill was making a painting that looked like something else. Now painting is about expressing something that is not tied to the exact way something looks. No, I mean, that's not true. There were plenty of instances where like paintings were not supposed to look like something that you know. It was a lot of like biblical interpretations, for example. It's not like people knew what a fucking angel looked like. They just made that shit up. But, I mean, the part of it that's true is that, yes, photography did change art forever. I agree. Most artists that work in the industry aren't concerned about being replaced, but more concerned that we're getting exploited by large tech companies at the benefit of cheap commercial generation of art. The true winners are Microsoft and Google dumping billions so they can put all this shit under a subscription model. I should preface that I'm an ex-software engineer and can see AI tools being beneficial in theory. I mean, they are beneficial. In 3D art, AI can't do topology, unwrapping, skinning, which are the most annoying part of the procedure to do, so at least that job still remains law. AI art consumer base just want cheaper furry porn, let's be honest. Yeah, like I think it, in a weird way, I think there's also another component, like the majority of people don't do art, right? Like or commercialized art. So this offers people with like some level of creativity or creative prowess to be able to engage in art without doing the work, without learning the skills. And I think that really frustrates a lot of artists. You know what I mean? That's it. You might have that I get it. Like I understand it. It's for a lot of people who are dog shit and have no technical prowess in art, who haven't fucking toiled over it for thousands of hours, making sure that they perfect all of their strokes, to be able to literally make something that you spent your entire life making in a matter of seconds. So for that reason, it's kind of, for that reason, it's like, it's pretty impossible to get ahead of it. You know, it opens up art as an accessible thing to every single person with any kind of creative. It's not that. Stop trivializing it. Says South Yemeni Marxist. The biggest issue you still have not addressed is the data sets used for these art AI. It depends on scrubbing through thousands of real artists' work without any credit. All work being used to teach this AI about how to replace us, and we don't get a cent back. It's not about them doing it easier. It's about literal theft. Yeah. The problem with that is that it takes the art of other people, scrubs it, and then makes something entirely different. Right? So at that point, we go back to the same cyclical argument of like how all art is technically derivative, and therefore the better AI art gets, the more it's going to be not similar to anything that you have created as an individual artist, and it's just going to take from every single artist and make something different. So ultimately, it's not just copying and recreating in an identical style to some other artists and their work of art. It's just going to make something entirely different. Now, having said that, people can literally use artists as a prompt and recreate their style, and that is fucked up. It's not entirely different, dumbass. If you have enough experience looking at art, especially if you made it, you can see what the AI stole from. Okay, guys, I'm gonna keep it $150 with you. Calling me a dumbass while you're complaining that like AI is stealing your art is, you know, it's not very nice. Okay, I'm not your enemy. Like, calm down. Chat is having the worst takes right now, quadrupling down for aesthetics. No, I think it's because there's a lot of artists in this community, and they're genuinely and understandably fearful that they will not be able to make money with their art any longer because it's like basically stolen from by some fucking tech bro who is going to, you know, literally copy paste the art that they were making, okay, and then sell it for nothing, for free, give it for literally free to just steal your data. That's how easy it is. That's frustrating, I think. As someone who drew, who no longer does it, who originally thought when he was growing up that he would become an artist eventually, who had big dreams of being working in like the video game industry. I do understand it. But I don't do it any longer, so I also am not going to sit here and act like I know exactly what that looks like. I just don't think that don't think that like human beings, artists will be defeated by AI. It's just that maybe it will dramatically undermine the way people consume art, because art is something that is super personal and your consumption of it is super personal. This is like hyper commercialized, and that people will just not give a shit about the art that you make and will basically focus on, accessing it as cheaply as possible. We all drew titties to jerk off to, right? Record players have existed for years and people still go to concerts. Yeah. Make an effort to actually reach out to artists, especially those with knowledge of software, dev, and AI. Seriously, your understanding of AI art is limited. Yes, it's explicitly trained to specific artist styles, being dangerously dismissive to an industry that was already struggling. Chat will never accept your takes on this. You need to bring in an artist to say the same thing as you for chat to get it. No, I think that there are a lot of people who fancy themselves to be like the better artist than the artist that I bring on that will defend AI art, and they will still get mad. There is no aspect to this. I have a pretty extent. I don't really talk about it, but I do have a relatively extensive background in art. I don't draw anymore. I haven't drawn in years, so I can't speak on it like that. And I don't want to even say it because I don't want people to fucking turn around and be like, dude, shut the fuck up. You drew titties. You sucked. And then attack my shitty fucking deviant art. Shitty fucking deviant artwork. I hate this attitude some chatters are coming at you with when it seems like you're genuinely trying to have a discussion and learn. I get people are fearful. I fought with you on this myself, but you are not being closed-minded. I'm not. And no, I don't want to show you my art. What happened? What's the problem? All right, well, I'll end it now, and then I'll come help you out. What? Yeah, no. I'll end it now. I don't like the whole just use AI argument because I want to make it myself. I want to make decisions. I want to make the composition. I don't want a computer to do it for me. Okay, okay, here's the thing. I can suggest a lot of folk for you if my lawyer's okay, I can talk to you. Here's the thing. Guys. No one's going to stop you from doing art. What we're talking about in this circumstance is just how much money you can make while doing the art. Okay? There will always be value for art that you are creating with the same tools. There's a reason why there's a reason why people do carbon dating procedures to like verify whether or not a work of art is actually the original. There's a reason why the Mona Lisa is the fucking Mona Lisa, and it, in many respects, can never be recreated. Okay? You understand? You can always get a print of it. It's not the same. You get it? There's an essence to it. There's an energy to it beyond simply what you are looking at, what the visual stimuli is. The Mona Lisa is highly overrated. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just using like a very popular work of art. Okay, shut the fuck up. So no one is actually going to stop you from doing art. You can still do art in the way that you want to do it. The issue here is that you will not be able to commoditize your art in the same way. That's what people are, or specifically artists, are upset about. Monetization. Anyway. Still sucks for people just making a living on commissions. No one's carbon dating the anime titties that someone commissioned on Fiverr. Sag. Incorrect take once again, Lazan. I will stop them from making art. I will force everyone to use AI to make art, whether they like it or not. All right. Most shouters are young. They grew up with computer-aided art. They don't think it ruined it, but all the hand-drawn animators who lost their jobs would say different. Yeah, but ultimately, all of that was technological advancements that we take for granted every single day. These are all things that we consider as amenities that are a given, okay? But every step of the process, people lost. Some people lost. People lost jobs, livelihoods. But ultimately, human beings have a profound ability to adapt and overcome. It's probably our strongest, it's the strongest aspect of mankind other than destroying. Okay? Truly sad. You fight for everyone and are open to hear except here for artists. Artists are encouraging non-artistic people to learn, not to completely abandon it, man. You're taking the wrong way. The problem is the unethical use of copyrighted artwork without consent. You literally sound like an NFT, bro. I don't get why you're so against hearing artist takes. I'm not against hearing artist takes. I'm hearing artist takes right now in the chat. I've heard from every artist in the chat who fancies themselves to be a artist who's commissioning works of art. I think the issue is that when I hear from someone and I say, well, here's what's going on, here's the alternative, and I'll admit I need to think about this more. I need to think about it more. But I mean, immediately assuming that I'm like trying to kill you is silly. I think you just want me to agree with you immediately and just be like, you're right, I'm so sorry about ever making a consideration about AI art. Hasan Balenciaga. Yeah, that was kind of doo-doo though, right? See, look at this. This is what I mean. It's like fucking AI art as it stands currently is fucking dog shit. Look at that. At least it made my head large though. There are so many awesome artists in this community that I routinely highlight. Perfect argument for this already exists in terms of sampling. Music producers take from previous works and transform them, but to do so, they credit and make sure they clear with the original composer musician. Right now, what tech bros are doing with AI art are doing what those early producers do, going straight to the mass commercialization, doing so without the consent of the original creators they're ripping shit off of. I mean, are all samples cleared though? Like, I don't think it works like that. And also, in certain circumstances, again, in certain circumstances, when you change a sample so dramatically that it is like not in any way, shape, or form identical to what it once was, are you supposed to do that? The great example that immediately comes to mind, for me at least, is Playboy Cardi, which is what I will be ending this broadcast with. Okay. This song was never cleared because of what is sampled, right? It's a great song. It's an awesome song. One of his best. But unfortunately, due to who it was sampled from, it was never cleared, so it was never released. Anyway, peace, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow after leftovers.
She wanted me cutty, that bitch is a baby.